What is up, y'all? It's your boy Aniki coming at you with another episode of the Church of MHA live, not from New York. Well, actually, somewhat from New York. How y'all doing today? My Hero Academia chapter 324 is going to be the subject, but first off, we got to do roll call with the people that are here. We got Bishop Watkins.
How's it going? Every member of the church here on a Sunday, yet again, talk about my hero, maybe some other things that were good, bad. I don't know. We'll get to those.
Good, bad. Ooh, now I'm worried. Bishop Tarnish.
Yo, you already know. Here to read that MHA. Great chapter once again, man. But you know, it speaks for itself.
Bishop Ponzu.
Let's go! We are back, baby. Second week after the break. Man, I didn't read the chapter, so I can't wait to hurry to surprise me. So let's go, people.
Let's see. And then Archbishop Easter, you're here, you're still busy.
Undefeated of the East, baby. What it do? We back again, and you know I'm coming for you. Let's get it started.
Like the stream, people.
See, y'all got Ponzu on your neck already. We 20 deep already. Brendan De La Cruz, Trippy Manga. All right, let's go. Julian Burns, Mega Karibo here again. Yep. Oh, Tunisia here. Okay, the return of the newest visitor. I like that.
That means be consistent.
Mom's in the building. Tyler Hawk.
Cameron Bailey.
I appreciate Jotion. I see you've been out here for a minute. Can't see. Yep.
Shout out Brandon.
Shout out to Muaddi.
De La Cruz, J. Michael. See, look at that. Them
Tyler
popping off.
Shout out to Julian, Trippy, J. Mike. Appreciate you.
El Hori, Mega.
Ho, Solo, you here to see me go off? Oh, stop it.
Allez, guys, we are with 30 people. Let's get these 30 likes. Allez, let's go, people. I believe in you. How you all been doing? Man, I'm doing great. I just finished my my bleach style cover this night, so I'm really happy. It took me some time to think about the composition and the rest. So yeah, I'm happy. Thank you for asking.
Okay, did anybody else hear him say bitch, or is that just me?
I heard that too.
I heard it too.
Yeah. I said bleach. Please respect me. Damn. Thank you, Samuel.
Listen,
Thank you, Sigma, for the question.
Ponzu would never say something that inappropriate within the first 2 minutes of our stream.
You're right. We keep that on stream. I got you. Don't worry.
Give him at least 3 minutes.
Keep it PG. Keep it PG. We're going into that.
Thank you for the love, Watkins.
Of course.
You going into your second form?
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for the love. Man. Let's get these 30 likes.
It's one of those chapters.
Bleach, yes. Like there's a new trend about taking a series like a My Hero Academia and make a bleach cover of it. Like the style, the composition, the style, you give it a bleach touch. That's what I did for French manga named Dreamland. You can see that on my Twitter.
It's true. I've been meaning to set up a default message that I can real quick plug and play every time streams go live into the description with everybody's Twitters and stuff, but I still haven't done that. I'm gonna do it today.
Thank you.
And your channel gotta include that too. When you uploading, Ponzu?
Yeah. Oh, please, man. Man, plug. For the moment, I'm still in my exams. I have my my last exams like Thursday and Friday. After this, guys, you might get videos in October from me. So keep the lookout for that. You can always follow, subscribe to my channel. My channel is on the I'm not sure I will post it. I will post my channel on the chat.
Drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
All right. You know, we have 46 people. Alves is here. We got a bunch of the regulars.
What?
I think it's time to put it on. Time to put up this chapter. Y'all trying to read with me? My Hero Academia, chapter 324. Let's read. We the best.
We the best music.
Oh. See, this makes me happy because I'm pretty sure it was my like 322 review where I was like, the Ochako stuff is going to be more than one chapter. And here we are.
Hey, man, no, listen. Before anything, I always give credit where credit is due. I'm saying, well, you know how I hate that fucking spoonbill bite nigga. I still give credit where credit is due. So once again, shout out to the Viz officials for starting off all the way more goated than the scans. Nah, what was Boys Insecurity or something like that from the scans?
What
was it?
The title of the scans chapter was I'm about to check. I'm pulling it up right now. It was A Child's Insistence.
This is a young woman's declaration.
Actually, I heard the kanji that was used actually is for like teenagers and stuff like that. But like, you know, this is more appropriate. This is more appropriate for the chapter.
Yeah. See, okay, that's that scans being like trying to be too hyper literal in their translations and losing the nuance of the language in the process while thinking they have a nuance understanding of the language.
You know, regular shit. You know,
everyday shit. Hey, Nader's in the building.
Yo, Nader.
This has absolutely nothing to do with the chapter, but like on the first page, Brody to the left, people on Twitter are theorizing that's Kirishima's dad.
The dude to the left looks like he's related to Gavol, if anything.
What the? All right, y'all got it. I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't know what the fuck.
Ochako, we in here. Uravity front and center. Let's go.
Let's get these 30 likes.
I always loved seeing people happy. My parents always looked so exhausted, which was painful to see. And when I saw heroes in action for the first time, my gaze went straight to the faces in the crowd. Boom. So Chaco's on the building, standing above all these peasants. Deku's looking up. He's looking ragged, huh? Kind of weak and worn out. And Fox Girl comes through. Yes, he's been fighting. He saved me out there, and he's been fighting the whole time. And then, dude, wow, the irony. You want us to look at him? So what?
He got to run my face.
The irony of this man having the All Might T and hating on All Might's successor.
This nigga in particular got to run my face. He been getting me tight ever since last chapter.
Dog.
Yo, Alves. Damn, man.
I wish I lived in this verse so I could see this man in the streets so I could slap the shit out of him.
Yep. Hey, man, they got me fucked up.
Niggas that you want to slap
Yo, look at what he said. Look what he said next.
Don't tell me that we should be covered in. This is what I've been fucking talking about. This is why I've been railing against these civilians this whole time. They see. Oh my God. This is what I was talking about.
I'm telling you, these niggas is trash.
Bro,
because I know Tarnish. Because I know Tarnish actually be listening when he watched my reviews and stuff. Mm-hmm. Did I not mention them treating Deku like a war asset and a war asset only?
Yes,
bro. I've been saying that. I've been saying that since Hawks pulled up against since Hawks pulled up against Nagan. I already seen it since then. Because of the way he was talking about him, I was like,
I'm talking about the civilians though. Like they don't. And that's one of the things that I was talking about last week was that the My Hero verse is so skewed away from like what was like our version of normalcy that they're so used to child soldiers at this point and this idea of like putting teens on the front line that they refuse to acknowledge that this man is literally like, man, you saying I gotta work as hard as a 16-year-old?
Right?
Yes, like, that's the thing about it, man. That's the thing about it.
This dude look pretty young.
Yes,
but it don't matter.
Like these civilians.
The civilians, like they always find a way to strip the humanity of the people with a certain.
Even bro, last chapter, this same guy, he was like, he wants a break. So what? You don't gotta stay here. Like, what do you mean? It's the safest place.
Yeah. So, do you mean that we should be covered in filth too? No. Heroes are the only ones coated in that filth. So give him a moment to rest and wash away the grind. Wow, Ochako. Midoriya, right now, Uraraka is fighting for you, of course, but for everyone else too. I always loved seeing people happy, seeing happy people fighting for our right to smile again.
Now let's take that for a moment. What did Ida just say, everybody? We're going to read it together because I know some of y'all can't read. Midoriya, aka Deku, the MC with the green hair. Ida is saying this. The guy with the turbo engines for legs, the glasses, class president. He is saying right now, Uraraka, the girl, the lead protagonist, female protagonist, is fighting. You know what fighting is? Everything doesn't have to be physical. 90% of the battles y'all ever fought in your life were not physical. I want to show a hand of the people in the chat who've been in a fight outside of their siblings. And let's see you run that back. But you've been in a fight before. Not all fights are physical. But I don't want to, if I say too much, I might spoil what happens later. So we're going to keep it. I'm pushing.
Guilty on words, no jutsu. What the? Really?
Right. Uraraka, if you want me to stand up here and reassure you, I'm sorry. I can't do that right now. That's because we're all gripped by that same fear and unease. Seeing him in action, always desperate to save people, has given me so much to think about. We're all neighbors here, including him. When a hero is hurting, you see Bakugo, Uraraka, Eraser's still in rehabilitation. So that means, he's still adjusting to the whole
pain.
Yeah.
Look at my man sitting in the hospital by himself. Mike is not there. Rip Midnight. He's completely alone right now in the hospital.
Hold up. Hori did not do that.
In his bag.
Hold up. So I can't tell if this is supposed to be regular elbow detail, but it kind of looks like that's the scar. That's the scar from Shigaraki.
That's homeboy.
That's the scar from Shigaraki on Eraserhead's right arm.
Yes.
You think on his right arm? I don't see.
Bro, zoom in by his elbow.
Wait. You think? Wait. Whoa, wait. You're saying the USJ scar? I've always wondered about that. I always wondered if that was a scar.
Yeah, that's the USJ scar.
Yeah, your fucking body decaying away damn near doesn't just go away.
Man, that is the addition to the
because we never see Aizawa's like elbow.
Right,
really,
that's why I was like
all black.
But guess what? Horikoshi went back and thought to put in, hey, this guy has a battle scar all the way back from the first arc.
Never forget.
Y'all can never do it. Y'all never could do what he could do, man. Please stop trying to write the story. I beg you, please. You'll never be on his level.
It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed that I cannot achieve this, and I never even set out to achieve this. It's sickening.
Also that look on Endeavor's
I recognize a nigga. I recognize a dead nigga on the picture.
Oh my no, Endeavor know his time coming. Look at him. He's watching the new generation. Like
that nigga is washed up.
He's really watching it. Bro, think about how old he is. He's like a really like an old man. Like
nigga damn near 50, bro.
His time is passing. He's watching it. He's seeing this 16-year-old girl stand on top of this rooftop, yelling at all these people, telling them this something he can't do. Endeavor can't bring himself to face the civilians because of everything he's done.
Bro, he can't motivate people because he's the hero that looks most like a villain. He literally can't be the one to save people and stuff. And to the person in the chat, I do think you're right. He is looking at a picture. Ask me about
I think in the hospital, Eraser, I think he's about to get checked out. That's my theory. I think he's getting ready to leave. Because the last time we saw him, he was sitting with Mike and he had this head wrap, this thing on his head because he was hurt. It's not there no more, so he is getting better. But you know what I'm saying? And also, East. So you know what I'm saying? If Aizawa was still there, who else is still there? Or worse. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. Like if Aizawa was still in the hospital. Anyway, when heroes are hurting. Where are your peepers pointing, Ochako? The heroes are that away. Yo, Eel Boy. Wait. Let me see if this is another recurring hero.
We know him, man. I think
recurring hero.
Hey, we know that nigga with the pony.
That nigga gone. Yes, recurring.
Hey,
oh God, that nigga ghost. That nigga
he's dead.
Ain't homeboy with the ponytail dead too? Cause we just seen that nigga in the war art, but I can't remember exactly what panel I saw.
all I know is that nigga Eel Boy, his design almost looks exactly like the nigga Twice killed.
That is the nigga
He
Twice
does the
killed.
thing
That
about
is
it.
the
That's what
nigga
I'm
Twice
telling
killed.
you. That's what that is hilarious. We see literally directly. We see a picture. We get
His design. It's been like a few years, so his design looks a little different.
changed.
But that's 100% the same guy. I think.
Yes,
Literally,
Pedro, Pedro, that is the same nigga.
We
Without a
get a
doubt,
close up,
speculation.
and then we get the face of the guy of the person that killed him. That is something that now we get pathos for Uraraka.
And if that is the same guy, then Horikoshi is really funny because everybody was like, "Oh, we don't know these people, we don't care about them," and now he's showing them in flashbacks. And now he's showing them in flashbacks.
I'm telling
Wait,
you. That
are you
nigga
talking
got
about
his ear to the streets.
Yeah, are you talking about the dude that caught Toga in the war arc?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's that nigga. That called
Yes,
him Toga
that would make
breath.
sense because of the whole parent that's with the Toga panel too. Because
Yes.
she's the one who killed him.
Yes.
Where Twice killed him to save her.
He used eels to catch them. That's his point.
Yeah. Because the eels pop out of those little nubs on it. So yeah, damn. That's Horikoshi.
Yo, I wonder what other heroes we're gonna see in flashbacks that died in the war.
Bro, I'm telling you that nigga with the ponytail look real familiar. I'm trying to remember his ass. Bro. I don't know if he died. He was in the war. I don't know if he died or he was just one of the people that pulled up on the
No, Eel Boy's dead.
No, I'm talking about nigga with the ponytail, not Eel Boy.
Oh.
The nigga that was down there guiding Eel Boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with like
the
night helmet or something. Yeah.
I went. Somebody gonna have to go back and look.
Yeah, he was either somewhere that got in that war.
I wouldn't mind looking at that. I wouldn't mind rereading that shit any day.
Yeah. All right. Let me.
Native quirk would be.
Nope. We already know native quirk. It's cultural appropriation. We don't need any other answer. All right, Ochako, back to it. Please lend him your strength. So we have a shot at smiling together in the future. That flashback to Toga. What he needs is your help. Please find it in your hearts to let him rest and recover together with all of us. The crowd. We see Inko. Let me see if I recognize any of these niggas in the crowd. The fact that Horikoshi actually took the time to give one of these dudes buck teeth.
Wait.
That dude has a stereotypically like what's supposed to be drawn as a quote Korean nose. All right, so at least there's a good amount of detail in this. Izuku Midoriya is trying to take on all the responsibility that comes with this power, but he's still got plenty to learn himself. He's just a regular high school kid. Yeah, but this place is his. Oh, flashback. This is his. This is the fallback. Because it's a bad omen to trip and fall. The story of how I become the greatest hero. Hero Academy. Let him stay here. Whoo, this shot.
Damn,
boy. Look at the viz. My boy looking thick.
Oh my goodness.
East. Wow.
This is general. Not the time for degeneracy or slander.
For sure, bro. Literally, damn.
That boy, that 5 gen boy. You can do 5 gen. You have 5 gen. You don't need to do squats every day. Nigga was out there walking, boy.
Oh man,
nigga, he said that.
I'm gonna call the FBI.
Nigga, he said that 400%.
Get the predator here.
I know somebody in the back like, damn, that nigga really been walking, huh?
Yo, this is a direct callback to chapter 1. That's so crazy to me.
And also, boom, she's running through the crowd, one step away. Try as it might, humanity struggles to make true progress. Ragdoll, wait.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Which shoes do you want?
Man.
Those. Gotta be those. The red ones.
Let's go!
The story of how we all became the greatest heroes. Let's go!
No!
Come on. Yo,
I was not ready for that, man. What? Let's go!
He's still wearing them shit. Why would he ever take them off?
Hey man, listen. I'm going to say it once. I'm going to say it again.
Y'all
will never be on
cleaner
this.
than Deku's too.
Boy, y'all will never ever be on this nigga level. Please stop trying to write the story. You will never match up the horror coach trying to write his own story. I promise you. Y'all would have never did some shit like this. Ever. Stay in your lane.
Wait, guys. Wait. Did she become smaller, the girl?
I mean, Coda's like at her knee.
It's just perspective. She kind of far away still.
Not even that. I always assumed that she grew during that situation because she was scared. Like she was about to use her quirk low key.
I think Coda did use his quirk.
Coda or
Coda. Look closer at his feet. Like it could just be like normal splashing. It just looks a little weird to me.
He kind of dashed on Ragdoll. She approached.
Yeah. Like it looks like he might have been like.
You think that he boosted his feet with water?
Yeah, I think he might have done a little bit of boosting.
Imagine, damn, it's gonna be scary, man. If he can do that. Oh, bro, he can do anything with water, even press diamond if you really want to.
Yeah, like it could just be typical Splash. I just think it's interesting because he did like the double loop.
Next chapter, he gonna be like, "Are you all right? I used my quirk to get here. You want to beat all these guys up?" And Deku's gonna be like, "No."
Even Giorno, yo, shout out to one of our original ghosts, Giorno. Okay.
Ochako goat. That's all. Giorno Giovanna, happy birthday, bro! Happy birthday, and thank you. And you're right.
Yeah, it was Giorno's birthday. Man, make sure y'all wish Giorno a happy birthday.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 chapter. Ochako goat. That's all. That's all you gotta say.
Just gotta
the scans dropped on his birthday. He was happy. He was like, Horikoshi gave me an Ochako banger on my birthday. You know what I'm saying? He did.
It's a banger, bro.
I can fully address this. You know what I'm saying? Now, because what I realized after taking the chapter in for quite a while, Ochako literally did more than anybody. She literally just saved everybody. Because get this is why you just don't need to do fighting with your fucking fists all the time. Some of you fucking meatheads. Mm-hmm. If you use your brain and logic, and we all know how the story goes, at the end of the day, Deku wins, yes. Before that, shit, everything goes to shit, whether y'all like to believe it or not. Everything's gonna go to shit. But has she not made this moment right here, moving towards the future and getting people to see heroes in different light? That would have been one step in the future. People wouldn't have still been looking at heroes the way they should be looking at heroes, like they're still human beings and they need to be cared about too. Also, the main thing is that Deku would have fucking left again, right then again, had she not grabbed his hand and then made the move to stop there and keep the chain going and complete.
Yeah, this had to happen.
This had to happen. Deku finally really. I want now y'all all complain about. Oh, what we got to see with Deku?
Yeah, he had to come back. He had to come back. I see it now. He really did have to come
back. Now you get to see what Deku says because now he's finally going to value himself even more so than he did before. Y'all was complaining about seeing Deku's thing. Oh, I want to see. Oh, he's rushing. I want to see. I would like to see. Like, give it a fucking second. Everybody needs to get their moment out. We can't stop. Have Deku say this. Stop. Have a Deku have a whole chapter. The Bakugo's reaction. Like this plot want to things want to fucking move, and y'all want to be impatient all the time. Like, no, let that nigga write his story. Y'all know how this goes. So y'all always got the excuse. Oh, week to week, I'm just judging this, that, and the other. Like, nigga, like. You know, it's a binge better. But you always got the same excuse. If like now, Ochako literally just saved everybody's life because Deku would have ran back out there, did nothing but run himself into the ground. Like he barely could even use his power when he was talking to Ease. I ain't got the strength left. Now imagine had one of the assassins actually caught him off one, packed them niggas up, and they brought him over. And it was like him versus a couple high ends. That nigga wasn't getting out of there. All right. She saved everybody there because now Deku getting the rest. Even if Shigaraki does destroy everything, they have a chance of coming back because they kept Deku alive. Mm-hmm. It's not always about using your fucking fist.
And I wanted to just say them arguing with the civilians was part of the plan. Like they knew this. They knew they were gonna have to get past the civilians before they came back. Even Momo said, "Okay, we got the first part was getting Deku, and then the second part was bringing him actually back." because they knew that he might leave again, or they might force him to leave or something.
Thank you, Julian Burns.
Thank you, Julian.
Oh, snap.
Thank you,
Julian and
Arblast.
our blast coming through. Okay, hold on. Julian coming through. People be like, well, she didn't throw hands, therefore trash. But anyway, I can finally support.
There we go.
Our blast.
you,
I
man.
wish I had a way to podcast this. Love this chat. Deku being welcomed home with the open arms he deserved. See, that's what I like. Citizens ball dropping. Everybody else being like, nah, bro, come on. We're not here whooping niggas' asses too. We relax. We can do this in shifts. But also understand this. This does not just apply to the notion of class A, but what this also, if you want to, you can argue now that the flashback portion of MHA is over. But I wouldn't argue that just yet, because you could argue that it starts with, this is the story of how I became the greatest hero, and everything up until this moment was him trying to, is like us getting the story and him like thinking about everything leading up to him running the streets trying to be the next All Might. And now we're at this point where he's like, no, all of us together will become what is the greatest. But that might be a little too artistically liberated.
Yeah,
that might be a little too
I don't think you're too far off with that.
I don't know.
I had noticed that like once Deku was on the run, we didn't get future Deku narrating for a minute. It was other people narrating. I was like, it's like, is he like ashamed of this period of his life? Like he didn't really have anything to say.
Well, he did say that, like, I would understand that, because he did say that, hey, you know, he's like, this is my first and last setback. Because ever since then, he never really called anything ever a setback. He just made note, like, at this point, like when he made Stain, because people don't like, because people, I think what Horikoshi was aiming for was misinterpreted when you originally look at it back at Stain, even now, when he was like, well, I wish I had stopped Ida then. And Ida may not have died, but if you look at the context of what happened, Stain was the catalyst to the LOV, which basically a domino effect of everything of how we got here now. Basically. So had that one arc and event not happened with Stain, and he not had got the clout he did, and everything had the domino effect that it did, then they really kind of wouldn't have been in the same situation they are now. Shigaraki wouldn't have had his growth, the Camino incident, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? Things would have went very differently. But that's just like a thing like that is like, okay, it's different points in narration. So I don't think it was like he was like, I was my darkest period. I just think like, since this is the first time he's narrating since then, you know, I think it's just like I think it's a period he would have looked past though. This is not the first time. The first time was Bakugo apology chapter. He was like, everyone has always been ahead of me. That was the first time we got featured. I thought that was like in real time narration though. Oh, did you mean future?
Nah, I saw that as narrated Deku.
Oh, okay.
Because he said everyone has always been like, so it had seemed like it was even more than just that one moment.
Denzel, I'm gonna address this to you and everybody else. The story not ending no time soon.
It's not.
It's not ending no time soon. The final battle is not right around the corner. There was another battle, more like a wash. The heroes getting their ass beat.
People are seeing this. People are seeing this the wrong way. People are looking at this as like a reminder that the story is gonna end soon. I'm looking at this as a reminder that we still got a lot more to go.
It's the new start of the story, literally.
This is the first step.
If anything, this needed to happen. You had people. I swear, see, it literally, bro. If I'll say this with my chest out and my dick on the table, I don't care. I don't care what anybody got to say. This is the truth right here, 100% facts. If this shit was just a fucking video game, bro, we would have never had any of these issues, because the shit would have just came out complete and you would have had it a binge. Because this story is built on a binge. I don't know how y'all can't. A lot of y'all can't see what's literally been telegraphed and advised and foreshadowed out the ass and wazoo, because like I don't know how y'all just don't get it. But like, bro, this shit, it's so easy to telegraph what the fuck is gonna happen. Like, it's extremely simple, honestly. Like, all you had to do is read and foreshadow. Some of y'all be getting sidetracked somehow caught off guard and let loose. No, Shola is wrong. Ain't no around 100 chapters. This story is far from over. So listen to them niggas in chat. We speaking now. I'm speaking. I don't care how that sound like an asshole or what. I'm telling you. Because y'all don't be reading properly. You think this shit in 100 chapters? You have no faith in Horikoshi. You think he just built up Shigaraki for nothing. And I'm not trying to hear anything otherwise. Because you can't possibly say, 100 chapters is going to end. It basically should be a final battle worth of chapters right there and a little bit more setup. And then you think Shigaraki not going to end, Horikoshi set up for nothing. That means you don't respect and don't believe he going to pull through. That's a fact. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, it's probably got a lot more left than just one final battle. And the villains never succeed on their side. But y'all don't be reading shit. But hey, listen. I already told y'all niggas. Ochako season. Y'all was capping. I don't know what he gonna do. How he's gonna. I don't know. I don't have faith. We just getting breadcrumbs and this, that, and other. Is he gonna do the payoff and this, that, and other? Well, guess what? She saved the fucking series, whether you like it or not, nigga. Yeah, I'm getting aggressive.
Okay, so Daniel, real quick, from what realistically, there's enough holding cells across the country. Just because prison is a major investment you make when you have a lot of crime. So in the pre-All Might era, they definitely would have had a lot of prisons coming. So I'm not actually that worried about space when you think about it logistically and from like how governments operate, and detaining dissidents is one of the first priorities in most regimes. And when you want to go back to stability, detaining that source of instability is one of the first priorities in any government. But the real issue is that the Dabi faction is still out there. And so you have a combination of the Dabi faction, skeptics still being out there with the ability to potentially access and hack into data. And the reason why I say the Dabi faction specifically, though, is just because the only people or the only team that we know for sure generals escaped of or from was the Violet team, and Gaten's arrested. So those people would have spent months under Dabi's leadership alongside Gaten. And likely some of those people are more favored or would have some attachment to Dabi by now, especially after seeing what Dabi did and how it's so heavily crippled Hero Society. That would be enough to win over that loyalty. So,
and Gaten got caught, so that's like, oh, he failed.
Yeah. Like, and just like I've mentioned, and like Shoto mentioned, which I consider it just to straight up be a Chekhov's gun now, is that just because Deku is or isn't at UA does not have to be the determining factor on whether or not it gets attacked.
That's why. Oh, Joe, you must be really new here. Like, you must be a newbie, so I'm just not even going to address you. So, yeah, you must be a new buck in here talking about East riding Horikoshi so hard. Yeah, you definitely a new guy. So we're gonna keep it pushing anyway. Yeah, that's always been a thing to me. It's like people. That's why the story has always existed outside of Deku. Will continue to exist outside of Deku. Like I keep saying, like y'all people be so focused on Deku. This like. Oh, Deku not UA, like, you know, the plot things don't always have to do with just Deku. Dabi making his own move. Dabi don't give a fuck about one for all. Like, nigga, he got his own moves.
That's his own plot line.
He has his own plot line. His own move. He not gonna
wait, and I wanna bring that back to how Deku said at the end, like, this is how we all became the greatest hero. Like, just because he's gonna be the strongest, he surpasses All Might, cool. Doesn't mean Shoto can't surpass All Might. Doesn't mean Bakugo can't surpass All Might. It doesn't mean they can't reach that tier of level 2 and have those level fights, have those level accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Shoto has to handle Dabi by himself. He said it. He said it.
Right.
He said, I got to take him.
And it's just like this, bro. Okay. Deku the strongest. Okay. And he fought Shigaraki. Guess what? If the niggas at the mansion didn't do what the fuck they was doing, shit would have went that extra shit. Goes the same way.
The series would have been over.
So it goes the same way for the fucking final battle, bro.
If Makia didn't get that sedative, the series would be over right now.
Notice how Shigaraki ended when he had to fight him and Deku, and his body was failing him, and Deku was going 100%. Deku had to use everything. And Shigaraki
they was shooting this shit.
Yeah, then outside of that, they had an entire
people don't ever acknowledge the panels of Shigaraki fighting back, and I hate it. Like he was throwing air blasts. He grabbed his face. Like Shigaraki caught Deku slipping. That was him. He grabbed his face. He said, "One for all is mine." That was not all for one. That was Shigaraki that did that.
Yeah, bro, like y'all just be like, I swear, like y'all don't comprehend, bro. If Deku and Shigaraki, if Deku's above everybody else, right, in the series, like we already knew, we seen what Shigaraki do at 75%. Do you know what he gonna be doing at 100%? I.e., that equals those two fight alone. People talking about, oh, it's on. Y'all only mentioned what Ochako, Shoto, and Dabi, and they're like, oh, that's and make that the main focus when y'all talk about 100 chapters left. Nigga, do you not remember? They got over 10,000 convicts, and then the PLF advisors out in the street doing God knows what, and more people keep turning into villains, and then they got the villain, and then all those heroes that just quit. There are other forces outside of just Deku and them. Okay, Deku fight Shigaraki, did he win? What happens after that? Nigga, do you know he used all of his energy? He ain't gonna be able to walk or move after fighting that demon god? Well, then what about all the high ends? What about all other people? Like y'all, can y'all not remember? There are even you want to exclude the people that got arrested. He literally just released 10,000 convicts with other people, and then there are more villains that just keep coming. I'm still not getting this, how y'all can't really picture, oh wow, there's other things outside of Deku. And if Deku and somebody else are evenly matched, they're gonna have to use their all and they cancel each other out. Then what happens with everybody else?
Bro, Deku told us himself, we are all the greatest heroes now. Like, there's no excuse to still have this mindset when you got him, the man himself, saying that he's not the most important person in the world.
It exists outside of him. Just because you're most powerful doesn't mean you can do everything alone. Otherwise, what the fuck was the point of Justice League? Hello? Yeah, Superman can take on Doomsday and all those niggas, but guess what? What about all the parademons?
It's like it's not even all that. It's like they wasn't reading the story and they already saw what happened with one person taking on everything. We seen this happen.
It's like
you want the same system to keep in check. You think everything is gonna go back to normal? He gonna save the day right now?
Like this entire
you
thing, Endeavor's entire thing was he's inspiring.
Are you listening to Ochako's speech? Do you see Deku? You see Deku right now? And you think he about to save the day?
With what? Boy, he ran into Shigaraki at 70. Let's say Shigaraki didn't even improve his shit. He would have died running at 75%. Not to mention, even if All For One, that would have gave him a mid difficulty, a high level difficulty fight. All For One not rolling the wrong. So let him have a fucking assassin or two or a high index. Man, I'm just gonna address Pedro because y'all really be ridiculous, bro. I don't know. This ain't even just reading comments. This gotta be something else right here. It must be something in the water.
These people want to.
Like Kendrick said.
These people want to overwork. These people want to overwork my boy. They don't even see he tired.
I don't know, man. Hey, Pedro asked us a question. He tagged me. He said, "What do you guys think about Ochako?" Because I hate saying her name. Thinking of Toga. What do you think? You think she regrets what she said to her? 100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's confirming that meathead fight y'all niggas want too. But
yeah, that 100%. Yes, that was her thinking back. Like, damn.
She kind of messed up in that moment.
Because Deku would have given a different answer than her, but Deku's always been empathetic and an underdog. And
it's the same journey as Deku and Shigaraki. It's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's realizing her as a person instead of just a villain. It's that same. You look like you need to save him, but it's not speaking. It's not putting it in the words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, listen, I got my Ochako W. Y'all bitch better pray she don't talk next chapter because I already know she getting a cover or the primary focus of this cover, which is 33. But if she get more to talk about next chapter, listen. Okay. I already got a couple of y'all niggas bookmark talking and screenshot about talking about she ain't gonna get no volume cover. Probably to the end of the series. So
I still think it's wild that people thought Ochako was.
You said what? You kind of low, boss.
I still think it's wild people thought Ochako was never gonna get a volume cover
until like the end of the series, right?
Like what? Like eventually it had to happen. Just
And I pulled up all the other main manga y'all like to compare this shit to. The big three or the ones in the popularity, like y'all like to compare to. All them niggas got a fucking volume cover. All them bitches got a volume cover.
Yo,
Orihime, fucking Sakura. Because I know y'all like
really
blowing Naruto.
It's really blowing my mind because Uraraka got the most out of anybody. She got more than anybody, and it's like people still don't want to give her credit. Like she got more chapters than Ida, Bakugo, the rest of the class. Like, come on.
You know how people are. That's why I don't discuss about Mario Academia anymore, like having discussions with people in general, because most of the time is we talk about that between us, and bruh, it's sad. It is just sad.
It's just like I already know people are gonna say shit about page 14 here with Deku crying.
Yes.
Like I'm just like, all right, great. Yay, neat, he's crying. There's a reason behind it. If you can pay attention and see like what's going on in the overall story, what's happening right now, where Deku has been, like he needed to hear every single word that he's heard. He needed somebody to start sticking up for him and realizing him, helping him realize that he doesn't need to do all this shit alone, that he needs everybody and that everybody needs to lean on each other. That's the whole big message of this chapter. When we saw the little flashback with Uraraka, with her being like, I didn't notice the heroes, I noticed the people around them. And when we see like the people talking to Eel Boy, they're just like, hey, Eel Boy, and they're smiling to him and cheering at him. And we see that before that he was kind of like, oh, I'm hurt, I'm not doing 100%. But as soon as they start cheering for him, he starts smiling, and then she starts smiling, and everybody starts smiling. It's like everybody needs everybody to lean on. Everybody needs that. And Deku's finally realizing that, and the masses now are realizing that from Uraraka doing this speech right here. It's just like, this is her fight, and she's doing it, and it's great, and it's awesome, and it's fantastic. Sorry, it's not some, well choreographed battle that's happening. No, sometimes you need a little bit of talk no jutsu if you want to pull that card out of your butt. But there's a reason that exists. There's a reason that those fights exist, not only in the media that we read and watch, but in life in general, because it's not just about throwing a punch. It goes all the way back to why freaking Cultural Festival is my favorite arc, because again, it's not about saving people, is not just about punching a villain, excuse me. It is about saving a person from whatever trauma they might be going through, saving them from like rescuing them from a ship, saving them from themselves if they're like going through a really tough time. Like there's more to being a hero than just punching a bad guy. And this is just another example of all of that. But, keep reading your meathead things, keep having that kind of mindset, because you're going to learn as you get older that there's more to life than just stupid violence. There's a time and place for it, and MHA has it when it does and doesn't when it doesn't. It's all just so freaking good at the end of the day.
Yep.
Nadir. Real quick, hold on. I got this. Oh, Nader Moad coming through. I hope your vehicle issues have been fully resolved, because I know you mentioned that highway accident last week. So I hope you're doing well and all that's taken care of. But there's one thing I kind of wanted, but understand why it didn't happen. I know what dealing with self-worth feels like. I'm still dealing with it. Mm-hmm. Aren't we all, buddy? Aren't we all? Is that Midoriya finding out all the things Ochako said for himself in some way when he was going solo. And yes, like Midoriya has needed Ochako, like somebody to tell him these things. One of the things that I've talked about consistently is that Izuku Midoriya over-identifies and relies on his quirk as part of his value and his identity, and not his humanity. Yes, he's trapped, and part of that is because, once again, this comes down to another case of fanlations versus translations. Kosei is supposed to mean individuality, and this also means that the quirk singularity theory is the individuality singularity theory, which would be like essentially one person's, like the idea of your individuality and being so self-centered and having so much power that you bring about a destruction and pull everything else into your problems. Like this, that nuance is lost in the term quirk. But in this case, Deku was a person who didn't have his own individuality, hint, hint, and then he was handed All Might's individuality, hint, hint, instead of ever figuring out his own individuality. And that's why him having all these users' quirks, yes, right now and currently he's stuck in this space mentally where he's constantly trying to identify their quirks as those individuals, their individuality. But the thing is that none of these users had all of these quirks at once. And that's what makes this version of One for All, this iteration, Deku's own personal individuality. So he needs to let go of those thoughts and attachments and start learning how to see both that power, that individuality as his own, but also understand that that individuality, whether it's like the power itself, isn't the most important thing about him. It's who he actually is, or in this case, it's not the individuality that makes your power, but it's who you are as an individual.
And may I add some stuff to this? Because,
of course,
yeah, the thing about it's more like in a society where everybody has an individuality and you're only one that don't have one, you long to have one. You want to have one. You seek to have one. And you want to have something that you idolized. That's what we saw from chapter 1 with Deku. All men are not born equal. And that thing with him stayed with him throughout the whole series. That for him, value is when he looks like that individuality that he wants to. Like being like All Might. And when you think individuality is more like also a character trait, you know what I mean? And the character trait that he was longing to is being able to save somebody and be useful. Be useful, make people happy because he wanted to be useful. And when you see, just thinking about that, you see him in every type of way. That he always see that. That's why that he always neglected himself. He always sacrificed himself first for the better of others, because at the end, for himself, he has to be useful. He has to save people because he feels bad. Because he thinks that's the best thing to do. And one of the first arc, as I was said, if you can't save yourself, man, you can't save nobody. And it's still happening to this day. And we had it with this last arc. And here comes Uraraka in this chapter to say the same words that Aizawa said to Deku and the people of the crowd. She explained them that heroes are human too, that they need us as we people care need to be to take care of, to save themselves. We need to save them too. When heroes save us, we need also to save them. And the society forgot this, and that is what is beautiful in this chapter today. Uraraka, the biggest fight for her is to remind people that people are people. And that is something in our today's society, we forget that a lot too. That people are people. Every person, when you say stuff, when we do stuff on the internet, and we talk to people, people are still people. And it is beautiful to see. Horikoshi, I don't know how he does that, but props. As a writer, that man just killed it today. Thank you, really. I'm happy to share that with all of y'all people. You're here with almost 80 people, and we talk about this role here, and damn, I'm still under the emotions. How good this chapter was. Damn. Oh man, I can't say anything right now. Thank you, Aniki.
Something I want to like tag along with that is the fact that Horikoshi's been doing this a lot ever since he's entered the 300 stage of chapter counts is he's been we all know about how series do all these flashbacks and see everybody's past and all that, but a lot of the times when he's talking about saving somebody, he's always using the child version of somebody. And I just want to kind of throw that idea out there because a lot of things I want to talk about with it is dealing with the innocence of a child. So when we're growing up, we don't have all these bills to pay and all these responsibilities and all this other stuff. The only thing we're thinking about is, oh, what game am I going to play next? Or, oh, who am I going to see at school the next day? Like, it's a very innocent mindset where we're not really thinking of the outside world. So that's why we're always just thinking so positively, and why a lot of series, they say, oh, you're still thinking like a child. How naive. Where Horikoshi, he's been twisting it ever since we've gotten into the 300s of having that childlike mindset of, I'm going to save this person because we need that innocence back, just like Uraraka in this chapter again, just saying, I want to protect those smiles. I want to bring those smiles back. Again, it's that smiling, happy, innocent self that you have when you're a child. And it's just a nice touch that Horikoshi's been doing lately, having that childlike innocence coming back to everybody. And we even saw it when Deku was thinking about saving Shigaraki, which that's a whole topic for another time. I don't know. I wanted to throw that out there because, especially with Uraraka this chapter, seeing it, like a lot of her panels of her smiling as a kid, it warmed my heart a little bit, and it just got me thinking about that idea that I know a lot of other creators have tried to do that in the past, but I think Horikoshi's doing a really great job of that as of late.
So, and I think part of that is because children are like the most genuine. And so, because I think every person with sense holds their tongue. And sometimes people are like, oh, that's why I like this. But every person with sense holds their tongue because sometimes it's just not worth it. But at least, like when kids are speaking, they almost always speak without that sense.
Yeah.
Or without that like idea of repercussions. And so the idea that children in their innocence and like it's those formative years where they picked up a lot of their ideologies and they carry forward just makes sense. And what I like about characters like with Uraraka, with Bakugo, with Deku, we consistently see that it's a lot of the stuff when they first started getting to interact with people more. Like even though Ochako was shown, out at like a parade or out like in the streets as something was happening, which again is a commentary on the civilians themselves, because it means that even by the time that Ochako was like 4 or 5, civilians were so complacent with All Might that they genuinely were viewing all crime as a spectacle. Actually, let me segue into why My Hero first has possibly the perfect first chapter. It shows you almost every single problem in the universe within the first chapter. The only thing it doesn't cover heavily is like mutant discrimination. But you get the idea of Deku wanting to do his best and what it means to be a hero and moving and helping people. And the idea of your body moving on your own isn't just about being like a physical superhero, but it's also about the concept of if you're a hero, if you're somebody who's going to protect people or wants the best for society, you want to make those changes for the better, it will come to you naturally. If that's really who you are, you will not be able to stop yourself from trying to better the world or make and increase the influence and help other people. So it covers this idea like that's what heroes are supposed to be, agents of positivity and change within the world, which is why, again, the song Hero 2 is about being a hero beyond that and like using music to help people and change their hearts and heal people, and how it's more than just grabbing somebody, which is also why I love that like you get the beginning of the philosophy of All Might where he's like, if people think that I'm vulnerable, if I'm weak. And so we get this idea that heroes constantly want to maintain this illusion, this lie that perpetuates peace, and that we understand then that the peace is built upon a falsehood, and that all stability within My Hero Academia society is dependent upon 3-hour shifts of a 56-year-old man. You understand that there's going to be a contentious relationship between Deku and many of his peers because of the fact that he was born quirkless. Even with him having a quirk or earning the quirk from All Might, as he said he's going to be getting, you know that he's going to be behind these people and that he's going to have to explain himself. And Cameron Bailey, yes, there is, to me, there is a classification, but you're either a person with a quirk or you're a singularity individual. And the only two 100% like to me confirmed cases of post singularity quirk users or individuality wielders are Eri and Shigaraki, which is the whole point of their shared white hair, red eye pairing. It's kind of to show that their evolution has gone to that next step, but it also likely comes at a cost of like their hair coloration.
Albinos.
Hey boss, can I throw one on extra in there?
Yeah, what's up?
What also, since this isn't the first time, would the first category, first person be considered All For One, seeing as he has white hair combined with red eyes, but his brother has green hair, white eyes, and also the fact that he can control a magnitude of quirks, which always seem kind of off to me considering the logic, but if I just let it slide for like, it's anime, that's cool. But at the same time, that could also be a factor because we still don't know shit about that nigga.
So yeah, like, and that's one of the things that I've like stood by too, is that I think All For One is like, and that, okay, so that's kind of the other thing too, is that the reason why when you look back during like NBA, for example, and he's like, hey, should we make him a Nomu? I don't think that's just the whole I want to be petty. And like, I think part of that is obviously that I wanted to be petty and raise Shigaraki and make him a villain. But I think he already noticed that like, that kid has like the same setup as me, really dangerous quirk. This, like these next level quirks, because like Decay is genuinely one of the most powerful quirks. When you look at how powerful it was without any training, without fine tuning, and now where he's at when he still hasn't like necessarily trained it, but the dude can just level cities with a tap. Like, Decay is insane, and just like Rewind is ridiculously insane and powerful. And All For One's body, like Speedwoods mentioned, has always been adapted to these extra quirks. So to me, it always seemed logical that the modifications that Shigaraki went under were also possible because of where he's at, like that singularity human form. He wouldn't be able to just be modified and keep his consciousness and have the super strength augmentations pushing him up to near All Might levels, while also being able to like use all these quirks and all this other stuff, if it weren't for the fact that his body was already more like compliant and built around the idea of having quirks in it, is how I've been looking at this whole time. But I also think that white hair and red eyes, like both as individual factors, do play into the ability to like scale up your quirks. Just based off of Bakugo and Ida specifically, I think there's something there to because Red Eye Ida is the manga version, and with the whole being able to like chop his like mufflers up and just keep expanding, I think that there's something in that too. Okay. So I guess we could talk about the anime for a bit.
Oh God! Oh really, man? You didn't want that to do right now?
Okay.
Oh, bro.
So I have never expected the anime to be extremely gory. And yes, I do by extension think that Eri with a bit of modification can house multiple quirks too. Or in fact, I would actually wager that if All For One had just simply given an individual quirk or two to Shigaraki or Eri, like in specific, I think they could do it without any issues. I think it's when you start getting into this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I think it becomes more of an issue. But I do think that they should be able to do something like that. Now, there's certain stuff about the anime that y'all need to just chill about. All right, like even when I've done editing videos, there are times, like especially when I was doing like the on-camera reviews and stuff like that, where I would be like zooming into the frames of my videos down to like, the 10-second marks, and then having to like clip that, and that would take like a solid like 15, 20, 30 seconds. But now imagine having to do that for a rock flying across the screen repeatedly to make sure it's consistently in the right space all the time, and then doing that like over and over again, because you have to craft every single frame and make sure it's consistently right. The smears are done correctly. So like just my own experiences with editing let me know that if they're actually working on episodes this close to release, there is no way that some of those more flashy and ambitious original layouts can go through.
Facts.
It's just a matter of being able to produce that content in like the time frame and how much editing it takes. And they're not, I don't want to say this like, because I don't want it to sound light. I don't want it to sound, but like Bones is not Mappa. From everything that I understand, they're not going to be able to just like toss a bunch of money. And so like I don't like the fact that like some of the stills I did not like the fact that some of these more intense moments ended up being like stills. I've always looked at it like this. The scene that I was gonna always use as a marker for how we should expect the scenes to go was this scene with the crowd. I do think that a lot of this censorship is a direct byproduct of its time slot. And in turn, that does make My Villain Academia an arc that would only ever be properly adaptable at a late night time slot. And what My Hero Academia started off as is not something that you would put in a late night time slot. And so, like, so yeah, because okay, so that is a good question, because everybody's been saying for like a year or two that like they've been working ahead, and I don't see that happening. So something is going on with Bones. Maybe I don't know if it's their production committee. I don't know if it's their actually no, because if it's spreading across multiple anime, then it's definitely something in their higher ups that's going wrong. There's something in management at this point that I think is kind of an issue. But even ignoring like that scheduling thing, that all that really says though is that hurling more insults at animators isn't going to fix anything. And all what we're really doing by being toxic towards the main product and is that eventually people aren't going to be able to post their original layouts per their contracts. We're not going to get to see these like alternative cuts that just didn't make production. Because the other thing is that if instead of doing that, you take these opportunities to be positive, which you maybe open the door for in the future is post-production or Blu-rays actually altering some of the episodes a bit more so that they can help, or like so that they'll still use some of those layouts. But when you turn it into a giant pissing match, it becomes this volatile thing where they're like, oh no, we need to just shut this down because there's no point.
Oh, well, I'm gonna say my piece.
I'm not and Cameron, I'm not going to say we would have no censorship. Understand that, especially because of the political subtext, especially within My Villain Academia. I would not tell you that we would guaranteed get less censorship of certain but as far as on violent notes, there's a reason why when you were watching okay, I'm glad Karibo you're admitting that joint training was actually done well. Thank you for that. But yeah, so like, okay, as a manga experience, Horikoshi burying the lead of the darker tones was great. Like, but for when you're creating an anime that has like a product and you have to like market it and you have to sell more ad space. Whereas if you're when you're making a manga, especially a weekly manga in a magazine, you're going to basically have consistent advertisers, and they're not necessarily they'll pay more for certain pages. So like advertisers will pay to be closer to the One Piece pay, like chapters or whatever, more than likely, just because that's how selling ad space works. So you might not have the most profitable ad space, but even if people don't necessarily want to advertise with you, if you're still selling well in your volumes, then they'll keep you in the magazine because you're still going to sell well, and that keeps people willing to buy the tankobons. But in the case of an anime, if people show up and they're expecting a certain project, Yeah, I would say this: if season 6 is confirmed to not be televised during nighttime, don't even bother bringing up censorship. It's going to happen, and you're not getting the gore.
We might as well cut. We might as well cut the nighttime shit now because we assumed that would happen before, and then they said, "No, we still not changing the slot." So the slot didn't change for one of them because the NBA was darker than the war. So
that's their meal ticket. That's their
meal
ticket.
If they didn't, because NBA is darker than the war, because there's a lot of dead bodies and actual gore on screen. If you read the manga, censorship, blah blah. But it's a lot more darker theme than like the actual war. But being like that, it's like, nah, they're not gonna switch it. They definitely not gonna switch it for the war if that's the case. If they didn't do it this time, I don't think there'd be a reason to switch it again. Especially considering what Anna Kingdom we're talking about, how the kids are favored, and if the kids are favored by the younger audience, then most likely they wouldn't change it up for anything for that note.
So yeah, the problem is that if they could switch their market audience in a heartbeat, they probably would. I'm not even kidding. Like if My Hero Academia could be like, all right, so I know we kind of tricked you into thinking this was going to be like a shallow superhero series, even though not really, because we kind of directly told you that some stuff was shady and like the precipice of the series. Like, obviously, you didn't take that seriously, and we didn't fully like lean into like how dark it could be. But now, like, especially because when you think about it, you get from season 1 through season 3, there's not really anything wrong with the way that they marketed the series. Like, the student emphasis in seasons 1 through 3 made total sense. And it's like, oh no, everybody thinks we're a total nothing but a superhero series. And I don't think I personally don't believe that everybody at Bones or that works on any anime reads all the story because they get stuck working and animating all the time. Like, I remember not liking the sub actor, like the original VA for Bakugo in season 1, because I actually thought he like sounded like too evil. And I thought that was like a mischaracterization. And then it was even stated that he hadn't read ahead in the manga yet when he voiced Bakugo. So then it made sense to me.
Yeah, so you just hearing that nigga's dialogue and not actually seeing it. You see a picture of the guy looking like kind of looked like a villain. You just see his costume. And then you just hear his dialogue fucking bullying Deku and talking all that shit. You kind of get that assumption when I'm trying to voice somebody,
So that threw me off. But so, and that's the other thing. Let's look at when this anime started. I want to believe it was airing by like chapter 70, chapter 80.
Sounds about right.
Like, I don't even think Camino had finished yet.
Yeah, it sounds
yeah, it was sometime around that, because I caught up when Camino was about to start, and that was before season 1 aired, I think.
I caught up around that place too.
So I remember hearing about it. I'm just like, oh, I'll check out this series before the anime comes out.
I read the series. Chapter 75. Okay. When was that?
It debuted in April of 2016. So yeah, it definitely was already in production like a year before that. So maybe 50 chapters in is when they were making My Hero's anime, like starting and like how they were going to approach it. So from that perspective, like you're 2-3 seasons in, and over, like you're like when they overhaul arc was starting, I think when season 2 was airing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
think about like the vibe shift between. So it's like you just finished season 2, you got that shit airing, and you pick up the manga, and it's like, whoa. We've been selling these niggas the wrong thing for the past 2-3 years.
You get hit with that gas tag.
Hey, so you know what? Hey, boss. Since I don't really feel like talking about anime, I just want to say my piece on it.
Yep.
I'll segue with Pedro Leal, because what's up, Flo? Get your ass in here.
Huh? Flo is there.
Yeah, get your ass in here, Flo. So Pedro Leal, he said, also, I think that as manga readers, we should actually see how anime onlys feel about a season. Well, to talk about this, my brother, father of my godson, he he be disrespecting Shigaraki. I told him, hey man, listen, you won't give Shigaraki his due credit because of what he does, and like if I didn't spoil, I didn't tell him it was a full villain arc. Okay, I just said, hey, you gonna respect Shigaraki, okay? But then them switching things around, like I'm not gonna get into like, hey, they had to do what they had to do, all that stuff y'all was talking about. That's not my issue in the entire thing. I'll get to what my issue was this portion of the season. I ain't all the other politicals, like, you know, they had to cut this for this and the kids and advertising and the higher ups, all that shit. Okay, out of their control. I'll say what my actual issue is later. But it wasn't right as of right now. It's kind of misconstrued that Shigaraki just got granted some power because he still calls Shigaraki like, hey, that nigga kind of cheated, man. He just got tossed the power, just that and the other. I was like, no. They switched things around. Okay, like you have to actually see how he actually gets the power and stuff like he earned that shit. All right, he worked for it. With a month ahead of time fighting Makia and then going into NBA and doing what they did and making them niggas. But I didn't tell him the whole details. I was like, nah, they earned their shit though. He's like, well, you know, it kind of makes more sense that they kind of earned it. But a lot of the stuff they cut out, you know, you won't feel the same amount of gratitude and payoff that the league was fucking struggling and robbing the KKK and other fucking criminals out the street and sitting on places where they even have bed mattresses, just bed springs and shit like that. To where they get to now, where they live in lavish and stuff by the end of the thing. So you know, I guess we'll wait and see by the time they see Shigaraki earn his stuff. But right now, some people kind of like misconstrue how he just got handed the power. And also, the thing that was off to me was I don't know why they had Uchiko laughing when it was Shigaraki laughing when the surgery was happening. They kind of had him looking more to I understand the blood and thing, but like why was Uchiko laughing? That was Shigaraki. There's no question about it. Like you can literally see the ha 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 is inside the room because it's covered by the fucking things. And then Uchiko, I was like, all right, that's weird. You know, they had Shigaraki looking in the pan and censorship, all that. Oh, okay. Why did they switch Shigaraki's line? I'm not gonna talk about the whole Splinter shit. At least got to narrate if it's gonna be this short. But my issue with this, I understand the whole cutting, like the political stuff, all that stuff. Splinter's character arc, just so far, has gotten like kind of basically butchered. Yes, you could argue they may reuse it when he's talking to Hanabata, but I usually optimistic person, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. And so far, I'll wait and see they do it. But that whole conversation they had when they were living broke and he yanked Shigaraki up and Shigaraki didn't just dust that nigga in the conversation they're having, and then the conversation with the doctor, and then him like, I had to do something for Shigaraki. Him and Spinner and Shigaraki are rolling together through that entire arc. I gotta do something for Shigaraki. That helps build his character because then it goes back into the war. Yo, I gotta be the one to help Shigaraki. Your Shigaraki's most loyal follower. Come back to the league. You not the nigga I follow. All that shit's important. The main thing right now is somebody brought up a good point. We barely know Redestro's character. Because from his introduction, you get this charismatic guy. Then with the killing of Yamashita, you see how he does have a passion and his fanaticism for the fucking way of the Liberation Army. You see that, like him killing somebody that he actually value and respect is like, damn, but you got to go, even shedding a tear. But they did the whole like, all right, for the sake, we got to kill the league thing, okay. But then they cut out a couple pages when he was talking about all life is precious and, you know, we value all lives, and Curious did this and her sacrifices don't go in vain and stuff like that. And him crying was like, okay, you really get a feel for his character, how he actually values these people and is more to his character. I'm like, all right, that's kind of important. You're not kind of getting the same effect, especially when it comes later on down the line. And then the whole Hanabata thing, you know, I guess you can exclude that if you want, but them, how they value Curious and he did his insight shit and was like, oh, our dear Curious is falling. Then they roll up on Shigaraki with rage and stuff like that. Instead of just like popping up. But I understand there's some things you got to cut for other reasons, but some stuff is kind of butchering the characters. I mean, if it coming at a cost of like they can't handle it for upper higher ups or what have you, I understand that shit. But at the end of the day, some character, I'm not looking for all the Sakura shit. The most important shit is getting the storyboard across, because y'all niggas appreciate the Sakura shit in the manga for 2 seconds and then you fucking forget half the stuff that's been set up in the story. So I'd rather have the actual some of the subcontext and the things that really build the characters than a lot of the other stuff y'all be, explaining. It's valid criticism, but my thing is they're cutting some of the characters and they're getting butchered down. That's my only thing about the season so far, because I ain't had shit to say until they started doing that. But y'all niggas do be going wild about that anime. I ain't gonna hold you. Some of y'all niggas be getting out of pocket, man. That's all I got to say about this shit, though.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched since joint training, so I don't really have anything yet. So
From what I
I'm just gonna
in
binge it
doses.
here soon.
I watch it in doses, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I watch it when controversial episodes happen. I'd be like, damn, what happened? And now that's every week. So
I would like to add something on this is, but for the anime, what I'm scared of it is that because the censoring, from what I see, from what I see, I have questions because they're late. Being late is normal. But being late, I'm sad because they're late because I see they're working on a movie and they're late on. I'm the guy thinking that if you have a series, I think that the series is more important than the movie. That's how I see stuff as a person, because this the making a movie that is not canon more important than the anime that is the first story that we follow. Does weird things for me as a person. The focus, because I know that the movie, if people will see it, it will look good because that's what the movie is for. But still, why you can make, if you can have the series good enough to watch, why would you make a movie? That's how I think as a person. For the money, yes, but still, it's sad. It's just sad for me as somebody that loves the medium. And I read the manga before watched the anime, and just seeing the clips to see how one of my favorite arc of the whole series was not treated well. It pains me because no, I'm not the only one who was hyping up this arc to everybody, because when I read that arc, My Hero Academia changed my view of so much stuff and confirmed so much stuff with this arc for many people. I don't think that I'm the only one who's thinking that way. And My Villain Academia was an arc that changed people's perspective on My Hero Academia and confirm a lot of things for many people like Aniki, me, and everybody. I think that he's here. I think so. So when you make a story like Horikoshi made, the attention of details, stuff like this, cutting scenes is hell of painful. When people make don't waste a panel and you cut chapters, it's painful. It's really painful because it is in the details that we see the devil in the details, and it's really, I don't know what's happening. And Aniki, you said that you would make a video at the end of the season, because
I'm probably gonna have to do one at the end,
because I really think that what they're the way that they censor stuff, those things that they don't say, word that they don't say in the anime, is this is not random. You know what I mean? And I think people know what I mean. For people that don't know what I mean, you can ask me. I will answer your questions. But for the moment, everything that they have cut have something to do with the society, and that is weird. We are literally we're going back to the communist we are back in Russia in the half of the century of the previous century. That's fucking weird. With My Hero and it's fucking weird we get this with the anime like My Hero Academia. Man, that's scary. That's just scary. It means a lot, right? In these times, what if they really are doing this with this arc? I'm scary. It's scary for what's happening for the next time in the stories, for the next seasons. I'm scared because I hope that it's really not what I'm thinking right now. But yeah, let's not talk about this anymore because it's making me sad for nothing. Oh man.
Like I said, I'm more worried about the political stuff because that's what I feel like is the real problem.
Yes.
Because My Hero is basically a commentary on Japan's history with biological weapons, as well as its current issues with like overwork and xenophobia and all these other aspects that they're having cultural issues with. So that's what disappoints me. That's why I'm like, I don't care that you didn't get your Sakuga Fest when you wanted it at all. I care about like the good underpinnings of the story being kind of removed and ultimately making it a far less nuanced tale, stripping the story of any complexity it has in favor of marketability, when the thing that got you all this revenue in the first place was and is like the nuance. Like, I get it. There's a lot of casuals that watch a lot of stuff, and if I'm honest, I've met some pretty super fan, like some casual super fans. And what I mean by casual super fan is that they just like a bunch of stuff. Like, they'll buy the merch, they'll have tons of merch sometimes, but they also won't actually be like giving you explanations like I do, or like Ponzu gives you, or like we have here on the church in general. And there's nothing wrong with being a super fan while still being casual. It's just that super fans inherently end up needing different kinds of treatment if they're not analytical types. And that's why people love to come back and watch My Hero every year. And they'll like gladly watch every episode when it comes out, but they'll also straight up be like, yeah, I forgot about this person. I forgot about this person. I forgot about that. Because it's, for those people, it's largely enjoyment, and enjoyment exclusively. They don't deal with the same aspects of like anti-Twitter where people constantly want to prove or like shit on stuff. And the thing is that there are parts, like even with this last episode, there's parts I was disappointed in, but the real thing that needs to just be addressed here, and people need to be a bit more honest and self-aware about this. It's fun to hate on stuff. Being a player hater is fun. That's why the player haters ball joke and the Chappelle Show works. That's what made that skit a viable piece of comedy, because at the end of the day, being a hating ass nigga is an enjoyable hobby. You can have a lot of fun hating on a nigga. You ain't ever seen somebody like Comedy Central literally has the Comedy Central roast where you put one person on a pedestal, you're like, this person is famous, now let's shit on them. Like, this is something that is intrinsic to our culture, and because it is fun, it is way easier to take the narrative that is fun. Like, it's fun to be like, man, Bone sucks. Because the other thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, everybody with sense bites their tongues, especially in real life. Because you might be at work and you might be in a meeting, and Dale just said some of the dumbest shit possible you've ever heard in the pre-meeting. Like, in the pre-meeting, you guys were just, talking about kicking ideas, and Dale decided to say some shit to Mark, and you're like, that is a fucking moron. But Dale didn't hurt nobody. Dale didn't say it to you. It wasn't offensive. You're just dumb. So you just bite your tongue. But all that stuff kind of builds up because it just doesn't make sense to be like that way. And so you still have some of that like little extra energy. And then people get online and they can take some of that extra volatility, that extra hostility, that extra energy. People will put it in a COD. People will put it into their fandom. People will put it into their like discourse. And like that last one is where we end up with a lot on anti-Twitter. A lot of people charging their bonus hostility into discourse. And then they use that energy to be extra inflammatory, spread misinformation or whatever, because they're just having fun, because it's kind of like a video game. Social media is like a video game. You say a goofy thing and you get 4 points, maybe. You say MHA is raw. You say MHA is rawness and swag, and all of a sudden you have 124 points. Ooh, that feels good. But then something happens, you're like, oh wait, everybody's trashing on this. Oh, I think I got like 4,000 follow points. oh sweet, if I make this same tweet, I can get like an extra 2,000 points. And so people kind of just see social media as this game where they're constantly farming clout and points and interest and interactions, and everybody's high-fiving each other and slapping each other on the ass like a baseball locker room and all kind of other shit. That's why I did track. And they don't realize though that like the whole point of like social media is this isn't like a bunch of us playing a video game together. This is a bunch of people effectively interacting with each other in a way that they would in real life. These aren't AIs and bots and stuff that you're PvPing for fun. These are just people you're insulting and bashing and tearing down for fun. And so the correlation and the context of like what it means to actually be in the real world is lost in the way that a lot of these things are discussed. Otherwise, people would go out of their way to be as informed as possible before speaking. They would go out of their way to try their best to be knowledgeable or understanding or give the floor to people who are more informed, but that doesn't get you those points. You don't get that love for being like, oh, I said this. And then people are like, oh, well, that must be what's true. And then an animator comes out and says, that's not what happened. And then you go, yes, it is. You don't know anything about the industry. Why? Because then you lose points. Your credibility is under fire and you can't keep getting those online points because that person is more intelligent than you, or they're more knowledgeable about you in that subject. And that's just an L you have to take. People are going to know more than you about different things. If you want us to talk to me about Polynesian theology, there's no way I'd be able to like keep up. But if you ask me about like the book of Judges or like some Christian book of the Bible and like stuff like that, scripture, I could talk to you about that a lot. Why? Because I went to a Lutheran high school and spent 8th grade in Lutheran school. So I spent a lot of time studying that. And it's just the way it works. Respect professionals and their knowledge and their like that. We live in a world where if we wanted to, we could get all the keys and learn all about the anime production cycles and all these other things. We could learn these things. If fandoms spent less time trying to be hostile and having the fun of hating on people and more time being like, oh, hey, I noticed you worked on this scene. What was that like? And then just letting the discourse flow. Because there's a thing that Riot Games did that was like bad for the overall mental health of their employees, but it ended up like if it had been done more balanced and when people have that option of engaging with social media, it works very well, which is there used to be a time period where you could like be like, hey, Reds, I want to ask you about this game balance decision. And then somebody would do like a nuanced take in the forums on the League of Legends forums. And then every now and then somebody who actually works on game design and balance would be like, hey, we decided to adjust these mana costs due to the X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But those options are basically gone now because fandoms are so quick to turn visceral and so quick to chase those online points. Because if you get to say you ratioed the animator of some scene, then shit, you're winning. You're the king, you're the dope. Oh, you slaughtered that dude. You'll be the anti-Twitter hype for the next 2 hours.
Those are going to be the greatest 2 hours of my life.
People gotta like take these steps back.
Oh man,
and really think about.
That's why every month. That's why every month you get a new version of the blank take will this get you, and it's like either a picture of what's his face from Tangled with all the swords, or I think the new one going around now is that part from the Spider-Man trailer where it's
what'll have you as public enemy #1 in a fandom.
Yep. I'm just like, can we get something new, like not this, so I have to hear people's bad takes again. Like
the funny thing about the whole like take economy is that I noticed one thing, people are almost addicted to it. Like they exhibit like almost the same traits as like an addiction. Like they need to have that ratio. They need to get all those likes. Like it's like a game to them. Like they keep chasing that initial like clout. But the thing is, they don't understand the clout is temporary. Or if they do understand, like to them, it's just a temporary fix.
Also, real quick, Cameron Bailey, I saw your question about One Piece and Naruto. So I'm going to be honest with you. One Piece, the way it utilizes dark themes is extremely palatable.
Mhm.
Like slavery bad, but like, for example, watching any One Piece slave scene is not the same as watching Birth of a Nation, where you had the camera like pop in and you could actually see slaves tied up, and then they took a chisel and knocked out each of their teeth individually so that they could force a funnel down their mouths to force their slaves to eat so that they could force their slaves to work. You don't see stuff like that in One Piece. You see them like doing manual labor, and sometimes you'll see somebody ride something and you can see like the bomb explosions, but it's not like you see a visceral explosion. You don't see them explode into messy chunks.
Yeah, it's always like inferred to, like, oh, kind of like with the whole Doflamingo Viola thing. It's like, oh, there was a relationship there. That's why Odin at SBS, somebody asked him, he was just like, this is, yeah, I'll let you come to that conclusion, but they were really close. Like, he's not going to show that on screen or actually say it.
No,
but it's gonna be alluded to. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. One Piece
That,
like this.
Yeah.
It's like the thing when Big Mom ate all her brothers and sisters, you know?
Yeah.
We could have been shown Big Mom eating her brothers and sisters, but we weren't.
You know, he just made zoom out and show this the sounds effect to tell that she ate them.
Yeah. Now with Naruto though, like there were some things that they censored from even in the manga when they released stuff. Like I remember very clearly a chapter from Naruto. It's around, spoiler alert, when a certain sensei dies. And a character actually takes up smoking because of it. Like I remember clear as day, this character Shikamaru.
You're talking about the king, the goat?
Yeah, one of the best characters. Yeah.
Yes.
He lit up a cigarette and started smoking it.
Yes.
In the manga, he did develop he developed that habit. And then at the end of the Hedon fight, he took like one more lighter and then smoked like another cig.
Yeah, but then they released the volumes and all that, and they censor it. Like they actually erased it from the page, and so there's certain panels on there where it's just like his hand kind of pointing, but there's nothing on it. And then the anime changed it to him just flipping the lighter a lot and then like throwing the lighter and all that. So that's just one example of like Naruto censorship. That's somewhat obvious. That's what, a 15-year-old picking up smoking. Yeah, that's kind of obvious, but like
that is pretty raw Kino.
Yeah, it is, yes, but I understand having to censor that, but then there's just a whole other conversation with that.
And that's kind of the other thing too, though, right? Is that when we talk about one of Naruto's biggest themes is that they are children of war. But even when I rewatched like part one Naruto, I still don't feel like they did a great job of really driving home that these kids are children of war, because there's just not a lot of actual emphasis on trauma for most of the characters. And hold on, I got a phone call.
Okay. But yeah, it is something that about the Naruto being children of war, they talk about is like we always felt that the previous generation had it worse. That's the thing about like the mission, like the brother of Tsunade, you know what I mean, when he died, the fact that they could die on a mission, that was something that we really felt in the beginning of the Naruto. No more in the story, but when the story when the story starts really to unfold. But still, yeah, right now, MHA, we are in the same situation. Our the students are war soldiers right now. Wait, what? So let's read the chat. So
I do.
Daddy here, so mommy.
Okay.
Daddy left, so mommy's here.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I'll let Big Uncle Mpontu take over though. I ain't gonna steal your thunder.
No. You can have it, Mama. You can have it, Uncle
No,
Pen.
it's okay. I talk enough, okay? They're gonna hear me talk in a minute. Let Mpontu take over. You've been listening for quite a while, okay? Time for your time to shine. You out
Oh,
there.
your mic is still trash. I just want to let you know.
Hey, shut up! I'll punch in your fucking nose.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Man, damn, man. Oh.
Pull it right out.
Oh.
Nigga.
So, just thinking about this. So the chat. Mama East, can I have a cookie? Alves. Oh man, he's gonna answer himself.
East, I just want to let you know you built like Kevin Hart.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna let you know you finna be built like sushi. You keep talking to me. You fucking aquatic animal. Yes, Alves, sweetie, you can have a cookie. You've been on your best behavior.
I maybe turned it into calamari, but I will slice you into sashimi though. No cap.
Shut up! Didn't Zoro beat your ass and fucking fish around?
We got
we got super chat.
We got super chat.
So. One super chat from Andrew Lolivar. Thank you for the donation. We very much appreciate it. What bothers me most about the social media are the snakes that spread negative and positive opinions 50% of the time can never tell their true feelings. That is absolutely correct. It was funny how Aniki is basically calling fucking Twitter Ready Player One, basically. Niggas getting points and shit.
Yeah.
Based off whatever they do. Listen, man. Niggas that talk shit behind the mic won't be the same when you get to ask a person. I guarantee you.
Because I gotta tell them to keep the same energy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They don't got to. I think it was Sammy. He told me about an old Twitter story because some of them old heads from way back in the Twitter days, right?
Oh, old heads.
So he had told me the story like one niggas was talking shit and it was like I think they lived near the same city or around the same city. And they talk about all right, keep all that same energy when we meet up and talking all that shit. And then homeboy was supposed to link up for the fight, but that nigga never showed up and he just disappeared from his Twitter account forever.
Real quick. I ball dropped earlier, by the way.
How so?
Yeah, I think that was So Tunisia, you did come through. I apologize, and it is something that okay. Japan has the same political blindness as the US. No wonder some of those aspects are being soft walked in the anime. It's actually a little worse. So the reason why I classify some of the stuff that happens in the anime as political censorship is because Japan is legitimately losing a lot of what's considered like freedom requirements. It's been falling in the rankings as far as its like freedom index. It has some of it's been having an issue of moving further and further towards more extreme rulings and ideals. It's not a blindness. It's more like we know we do this. We don't want to be seen as the bad guys. And I can tell you that they know this because back in March, you know what, Tunisia, because you haven't been here.
Aniki?
Hook you up real quick. I'm back. Am I back? Can you hear
me? Yeah, you good, G. Yeah, you good.
Okay, yeah. So back in March, I did a video on the cult Shinrikyo.
Yep.
That cult is a strong basis for the League of Villains, the way Shigaraki's narrative is structured. Just all around, it talks about how My Hero Academia has incorporated a lot of contemporary history as far as the reactions to religion, the incorporations of cults and the way they've impacted Japanese society, and how all of these things are mirrored in the religious, like borderline religious belief and support and attachment and detachment from responsibility that the civilians have towards the heroes.
Mob Psycho.
20 days later, another YouTuber touched on the same topic of Dom Shinrikyo specifically, and that video is inaccessible from Japan.
Wow.
Nah, ain't that some shit?
Typical Japan shit, you ask me.
Literally, Japanese people can watch these videos.
I know what to do. That's okay. I know what to do now. So I'm gonna go ahead to Japan myself with DVD copies of Aniki shit. Hey, and then I'm gonna just pass some hoes out. Like, I know some of y'all from the ghetto, so y'all know, like, niggas be selling mixtape and bootleg copies of movies and shit. That's what
He's gonna be staying before
I'm being that bitch with a coat. Like,
oh man.
Aniki smash.
Spread the word. He's gonna spread the word.
Bro,
state style.
you ever notice how, like, in a barber shop they always got the movies before they even release, bro? Hold on, wait a minute. Ever notice
niggas be selling hats and shit?
bro, they got movies, baseball caps, like they got
okay.
Yeah, we got a super chat. I want to keep the joke going. We got a super chat. They take priority. We appreciate the love, y'all, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Another one from Andrew Lolabar. All right, boss, take it away. Boss.
G.
Okay, the boss is nowhere to be found. Mama will take over. Hello? What the fuck? Is that me or so? Y'all hear that shit too, right? That me.
Yo, was that like an electronic animated mouse or something? Like,
I don't know, boss. Spread that mix.
Honestly, we cannot hear you.
Aniki, restart the stuff, man. Restart the stuff, literally. I don't know if you can understand. Because it's Aniki, maybe. I think so.
Okay,
nah, it is him.
Okay. I'll handle the super chat in the meantime, or that's what I'm here for. That's what Mama. Okay, listen. No. I don't know what you got going on. We cannot understand you.
Bro, he really speaking squirrel language from Rick and Morty.
Okay. Super chat from Angelo Olivar. Thank you for the donation. Once again, one of our top tiers. It's funny that Bones ran out of resource toward the last couple episodes of season 5 when NBA should have never been placed here in the first place. And what happened to healthy production? Andrew, well, you want to come back to that because Aniki was talking to Ethan and all them other niggas. I ain't got nothing to say about the anime. So we're going to come back to that. Don't worry. You have my word. As Horikoshi #1 stand. You have my word. We'll come back to that.
I found it very interesting.
All right, what's up now?
Okay,
you're no longer sounding like a squirrel.
Okay. All right, Daddy back. So go ahead and hand that super chat. I read it, but you can have that one.
First, I wanted to address Andrew's first super chat. The one about what bothers me most is about social media are the snakes that spread negative and positive opinions 50% of the time, so you can never tell their true feelings. I agree with that. I don't like the wishy-washy people who will be like, I hate that. And then the second one about the resources. So I don't know what happened to their, more than likely their production cycle got shit on by COVID and they just didn't admit it. Like, I think they might've been in denial about the fact that they needed more time. Mm-hmm. And like, I think they were just so like dedicated. They're like, no, we're going to hit these deadlines no matter what. And that is a huge issue. Like a huge issue, because it kind of implies that they maybe could have, because like it's not like some anime didn't have delays, right? Like we've had stuff be like, hey, we're gonna have a delay, but I think part of it is that they are partnered with Shueisha, and like Shueisha's like, nah, JJK was doing numbers this year. Come on, keep making that money. So I think there's a lot of external pressure where I'm more than likely, I think they got fucking mollywopped by COVID and just kept it under wraps. Like that's one of the things. Like, yeah. Like, hey, y'all hear that lightning?
Giorno.
Maybe it was the lightning that made him sound like a squirrel.
What's y'all prediction for the next couple of chapters? I really got no clue what Hori got planned.
Good.
All right.
I think we could. I think we could cut away either next chapter or the chapter after that.
I say we still got about 3 to 4 more chapters because the next one should be Ochako wrapping up her speech, everybody coming together, and probably some Deku insight, and then we should.
I want my Ochako origin. I want my Ochako origin chapter. If we can get it next chapter, I'm happy.
It's coming. I don't know what's coming next chapter, but it's gonna come. Don't worry. But I say we're gonna save
that for the clash with Toga. You see the setup.
Yeah, I say we still got about 4 or 5 more chapters because it's like, all right, wrap up the Ochako stuff, Deku insight, and probably see where they go from here. Probably give Deku resting just a little bit after his insight, and then we set up. All right, here's the date for the foreign heroes, and then we can throw away because we basically finished everything from the hero side. These niggas have nothing else for us right now.
Maybe during the resting part, we might get a little more vested stuff.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I say 3 to 4. I say 3 more 4 chapters.
Yeah.
Until we switch over because we still got. It'd be best to get the foreign date for the heroes right now because
they get All Might.
Yeah, because a lot of niggas are still, in that honeymoon phase, thinking, "Oh, it's all cute, and happy and shit like that." But a lot of us still know like the reality of situations that. Yeah, this is the happiness before the fucking storm of a lifetime comes.
Mm-hmm.
And this ain't even happy. That's saying something.
Yeah, this is the happiest we've gotten. Like you remember last chapter was the first joke we've actually gotten. Like, and I don't know how many fucking chapters.
Oh man, okay. I really want that because somebody just commented like Uraraka rising. No. We first have to get her origin before that we get a rising. Right now, for the moment. So I still want Arikoshi. Give me that chapter. Because right now it could have been Uraraka origin right now. You know what I mean? But still, we didn't get it. So we got some a new. Am I muted?
What? Super chat?
Okay. Oh yeah, you got a super stuff from Mello.
Yeah.
Aniki was something like Troll Barnes in the darkest time.
You know about Overwatch because you know Aniki loves community. You know Aniki loves community.
That was a Streets Ahead reference, Mello. I appreciate it.
I was not ready.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We get a back-to-back.
Nader Moab coming through again.
Not
the amount of times I
fact.
see people pass off their headcanons as fact pisses me off, which just passes false knowledge on that people just become confidently wrong. Yes.
Yep.
That 100 times. Yes.
Yes.
It applies to like basically one of the things that I've said online is that one of the biggest issues with discourse is that people will tweet fanfic stuff like it's canon.
Bruh.
So like, they'll be like, oh yeah, these characters are dating and do this. And then people will be like, no, they're not.
Yeah, like
what are you talking about? Like,
yes.
And they won't be like, oh yeah, in my fanfic, X, Y, and Z is happening. They'll just tweet out some stuff. And the biggest issue with this is that for some reason, there's this really weird disconnect that people have where they think that if you see a tweet and like the topic makes you go, nigga, what? That you actually want to investigate their page. I assure you, 70% of the interactions I have, I do not look at your page. Like somebody will be like, well, I had this in my bio. You thought you was important enough that I checked your bio?
Yo, bro.
Some people matter that much.
Do you want to be?
No, it's more like the misconception about 1B being worse than 1A. I never understood that
because B is after A.
But it's something that
someone clearly learned their alphabet.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. It's more like here in Belgium, when you have different classes, you call it 1A, 1B. You have maybe you can have 2 classes that have the same direction, but because there are like 40 children, they are divided in 2, and you have 1B or 1A, 1C. You know what I mean? But for me, so when I saw 1A, 1B, it was normal. It was just 2 different classes. But when I started to watch on YouTube a fanfic,
Headcanon.
And headcanon was because Uraraka didn't say, because Deku wasn't in the exam, in the school exam. Uraraka didn't have enough points, so she landed in 1B. I was thinking it was a wait, what? So your headcanon is you had the people of 1A had better points than the one in 1B, and it is literally stated in the story. You have literally a big whole panel showing you the people for different points enter from different classes, and you tell me that for you.
Listen,
Look,
this
all
is-
I know,
I don't know how.
Oh, man, niggas don't read. This not.
Man, listen, I don't know how niggas love to choose and pick when they can read all of a sudden. Oh, Deku said off one wants his body. That means he won his body, but never came off one mouth. So that, but you know, that's a fact.
I swear to
All
God,
right,
they only take the story at face value when it's
and then
argument and their agenda.
And Monoma and all the niggas like, we gonna show y'all not that much, y'all not better than us. Y'all just had a fucking villain attack in the spotlight constantly. That's his whole fucking character. Y'all not better than us. That's the nigga say every day and every time, every chance he get. But somehow 1B is shittier than class. They're like, I don't get what be wrong with y'all. And like, Poison Tree, you just be saying stuff, huh? Like, some of y'all really be blowing me away with this whole I hope this, that, and other. Like, it's some characters y'all really just be bugging on. Y'all just be saying stuff. I hope they do this. I hope they do. I hope Ochako does something. What? Like, some people I understand. Like, you be like, oh, I hope this character do this. But like, really, Momo? I hope she does something. Really?
I hope.
Didn't we just go through this whole thing with Ochako?
Some double stuffed pizza crust with a strawberry milkshake. How about that?
What? What did you say? What did you say? I didn't. I missed for once what he said. He was talking about.
You know what? I don't even know what he said. I don't listen.
Shit do sound slap right now. I ain't gonna lie.
What the hell?
Hey, I seen that thing y'all was talking about. You know, the whole magic thing and the reality. I don't read the series. What context says, and looking at their faces, some niggas may just came back from the dead, huh?
So wait, time out. People don't get to say that Class B didn't have setup, because if I'm completely honest with you, you hadn't met them niggas.
But they were set up. Like, you got names of them on panels they were shown. They were set up for the beginning.
Hold on. Yo, after the race, didn't he show every placement?
Listen, who was in 4th place, or was it 8th place?
It was 4th, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was that Tetsu or Shiozaki?
Yes, I think that was Tetsu. I think so.
No, I'm talking about in the in entrance exams.
Yes, I was talking about that. I was thinking about the entrance exam the whole time.
In entrance exams, Shiozaki and Tetsu are both listed.
Yes.
In the top 10s. So, like, at least 2 of the top 10 first years were from Class B before we even met Class B. So, okay, now put this into perspective. The first couple chapters of My Hero, we meet Deku, we meet All Might, we get introduced to the society, we finally get into the entrance exam. Not everybody who's going to be at the entrance exam needs to be a Class B character, and it wouldn't have made sense to introduce Class B characters because they're not going to be in close proximity to Deku within the first 15 chapters. So we don't introduce Class B characters. Instead, we introduce some of Deku's future classmates, Weirdo Aoyama. So if you think about it, Aoyama doing weird shit to get Deku's attention and eventually being his friend was set up since entrance exam. Yeah, suck on that lemon real quick. But also, so you have multiple Class A students being set up in the entrance exam. We finally meet them. We pull Deku's childhood rival into this class. So now we got an interesting dichotomy here because we understand that people who are in Deku's entrance exam group will have massive respect for him and thus tell his story. And Bakugo, being a one man and minority, will not have much influence or any influence over Deku's reputation. And we need to see how that is influenced and established and what gives them precedent to further support that idea and notion. And it's a respect for Deku, especially during the first battle training exercise that allows him to build a connection with the rest of the class. So the beginning is all about Deku getting into UA and meeting his roommate, his classmates essentially, and establishing a connection and a network with class 1A. So meeting his students. Then you get to chapter 21, 22, and I think it was chapter 21, and you meet Tetsu and you meet Shinso in the same chapter. Tetsu, who if you go back, was foreshadowed in chapter 7 or 8. And then you move into sports festival where we get to see the main players of Class B. And the difference between Class B and Class A is that unlike Class A, where people like Sero still randomly end up getting screen time and stuff like that, Horikoshi can, and it isn't for just the sake of realism and just for the sake of narrative purposes, not focus on a bunch of other members in Class B that aren't Kendo, Tetsu, Mudman, like that. The reason he can do that is because those characters like Tetsu, Kendo, move to the forefront. They challenge, they sharpen, they have rivalries with characters in Class A. They have reasons to interact with them beyond just the scope of we go to school together. They are in direct competition with each other.
Mic drop, biatch.
So Class B's characters were set up to be, in essence, the characters who need to be here are the ones who are going to get focused. Not everybody needed that much attention. And yes, Mudman, Shiozaki were both top 6 finishers for the obstacle course.
Hey, so we got a super chat from Thomas. So I address that, and I'm gonna address you Poison Tree after that.
Yep, Thomas said, I can't stay in the stream, but I wanted to show some support for the stream. Thank you, Thomas. Have a fantastic day, everyone. And of course, Horikoshi goated for every single chapter we've gotten. You spitting.
Well, every single chapter.
Well, you see, you have great evidence and source citation and all that academic stuff, right? But I have my head canon. So
oh no. Nothing can beat the head canon. It's under. He doesn't even use logic and he still comes up with conclusions.
Head canon is undefeated.
Ding! One class and we see the other class more. So A better than B because B before A. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I don't know the alphabet. It's A before B.
Bro.
Hey, all right. So here's the other thing, though.
Oh, wait. Oh, damn.
Hold on. Because I'm not done, though.
Oh.
Because nobody sits here and goes, the UA faculty is trash. These niggas don't get enough focus. They're supposed to be educating them, and we barely see them doing any educating.
Where's the calculus?
I've seen as much time. We've seen as much or less time of Cementos being a teacher as we've seen of him being a pro hero. But nobody's going to sit here and complain about Cementos because you understand that he's a fucking side character.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad.
How the hell did people decide that the side character to the side characters? You know, am I bad? It's not. It's more about this as a concept that's built up. So if you're trying to downplay Class B, we apologize.
No, I'm coming for Poison Tree specifically. I got something to say.
But literally, guys, it's something.
But there's something that also needs to be addressed. You are not obligated to remember every single character's name.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that's
to remember every single character. You're not obligated to speak on every single character arc or story arc. You're just obligated to speak with intellectual honesty.
Yeah, but I don't know why people talk like this.
Understand that sometimes you don't know something. Yeah. And more importantly than that, though, also understand that in a realistic setting, because I've always said this, Deku having 20 kids in that class, and somebody would, well, why not just do what JJK did and only have 4 students if they're the only ones that are going to be super important? And to that I say, you ignored the entire reason why JJK only has 3-4 students in class.
Hold up.
Because I've seen that before.
Who the fuck?
And think about that for a second, though. Both JJK and My Hero go out of their way to explain the context of their schools. In JJK,
nigga, don't talk about this. We are not. Don't talk about this. I think you don't have to put yourself on that level. You don't have to put yourself.
Relax, Ponzi.
Damn.
I'm not saying anything bad about JJK.
No. That's just why people literally we're talking about where they explain the world from the beginning of My Hero Academia, and
that's what I'm trying to say. Is like think like you're missing like the basic tenets of what makes the My Hero story the story it is. It's the same thing happens when people are like, well, if 20% of the population is quirkless, I feel like Deku should have seen more kids that were quirkless. No, he shouldn't have, because you don't understand how genetics work.
You don't know how
passing that stuff. Like, understand, if you are someone who has believed that there should 20% of Deku's generation is quirkless, you did not understand what has happened throughout the entire story. It's been directly stated by people like All Might. When All Might told Deku he's quirkless, he straight up said it was rare when I was growing up, but it's still not. It wasn't nearly as rare as it is today. Which goes to tell you that the quirk gene is a dominant, like it's either a dominant gene or it's a disease that has a high efficacy rate and spreads efficiently. Either way, the point is that the majority of people being born are susceptible to developing quirks. The people who are reproducing are people who have quirks, partially because people without quirks have been getting killed by people with quirks since quirks have been a thing. So the population is inherently skewed. There's a bunch of old niggas. 33% of Japan's population currently is senior citizens, 60 over the age of 60. 33% of Japan's current population. So that same metric, that same mindset can be applied to My Hero Academia. You can understand that the majority of those quirkless people are 60 and up.
Yes. Yeah, but hold on. This is another thing too. Nigga, you gotta understand. How is he gonna fucking know if he met a, like, bro, if you think about it, you can't use your fucking quirk. He's a child and a boy that's only 15. How much life and shit have you experienced and gone out there and did at 15? Now, you know, a lot of y'all niggas not Anarchy. A lot of y'all niggas grew up in the house majority of your fucking time. That nigga wasn't going exploring left, right, all over fucking town and having adventures like these other anime. The boy wasn't doing all that crazy ass extra shit. He's a fucking hero boy fanatic. You could tell he spent most of his time inside the house, because what friends did he fucking have other than Bakugo, air quote back then? That's the only friend that nigga had. You remember what he said when he met Ochako? Oh, I talked to a girl. The boy at 15 never talked to a girl. They brought on, don't think they probably ignored that nigga or brushed him aside and handed him a piece of paper. That's probably all he got. And he wasn't no like Mineta looking ass nigga, right? He's a young, handsome boy. So like it was just to the fact that he was a quirkless nigga that is an anomaly. You gotta think. Y'all talking about like, oh, why he mean that? Nigga, where has the nigga gone? How would you actually experience meeting another quirkless person? Like, oh, damn, my bad.
Niggas think that there's quirkless
like
meetups.
Like what the fuck you
in society?
Yeah, like, exactly. Like what? It's like a fucking online social forum for quirkless meetups. Like what? Some of the shit y'all just be saying, I don't even understand.
It's actually a support group. They got Quirkless Anonymous.
Yeah, it's actually like a support group. Hi, my name is Izuku Midoriya, and I'm quirkless. Hi, Izuku Midoriya.
Izuku, would you like to tell us how angry and frustrated you feel when others pick on you?
Oh man.
Sometimes I want to get a gun and shoot him, but I know that nigga can explode a bullet before I get to him and beat my ass. It's okay, Izuku. We all felt helpless there.
If Deku had something like that, he wouldn't be the way he is right now.
Also, let me. Here's the other thing. When somebody has something that can be perceived as a disability, and it's not something that they feel like somebody is going to sympathize with, because you got to think, being quirkless is like actually having cooties.
Yes.
like you might as well have AIDS, dog.
Like no, because like the fear that children have about like cooties, bird. Like don't touch me, nigga. Like, because think about this for real. In their mind, he's basically not human for being a normal human.
Yes. That's the thing. Niggas don't understand that.
No, Nader, thank you. Go ahead, bro. What he said.
Oh yeah. Nader coming through. Dude, Midoriya never visited a friend's house. He said it himself when he went to Todoroki's house. He did say it.
Yes.
So
see, you niggas
need but also understand this. Like I was saying, if you grow up quirkless and everybody's talking about, oh, I'm gonna be a hero when I grow up, I'm gonna do this when I grow up, woo woo woo, and then you ain't got a quirk and you next to Bobby who can explode, but nobody knows you quirkless, and you could just be like, oh, my quirk is like I have like a really small tail. People be like, oh damn, well, I guess that's a lame quirk. No wonder you don't talk about it. And they move on. You're better off lying and being like, oh, I just got a 6 toe.
Yeah,
Fake it till you don't have a quirk.
And we seen out a fucking bunch of
no,
before.
Yeah, he has a 5th toe, not 6, but 5th.
No. Because they have the pinky toe, they don't have one of the joints.
Yeah, the joints, yes.
So like yeah, like that's what quirkless people should have been like. Oh yeah, I just got an extra joint, nothing special.
Oh, well, before we get too far off topic, I'm not gonna let Poison Tree escape. Listen, all right. This is the actual issue that comes in My Hero. That's not Horikoshi's fault. It's more so y'all fault and y'all issue. There are just too many unique and non-boring designs. I mean, you see, Horikoshi may apologize for that, but me, I say fuck y'all niggas. I'm not gonna just downplay my talent. I can spit out a creative design for a background nigga that's not gonna be seen for another fucking ever again if I don't want to be seen again. It's just he's just that good at creating designs. So y'all overvalue a character with a raw design or somebody that should be cool. All right. I.e. Kira's badass. I.e. Majestic. You might have thought they was gonna do something, but that what Horikoshi never said. I got big plans for this character. I never might change my mind. No, you just thought a lot of us thought they'd be actual characters because of the design and their quirks were pretty relevant and cool or what have you during the time of the story. But that's just the problem. The Class B just has a bunch of not like cool designs and like interesting quirks, but that's always been a series. Everybody has a variety and a different quirk. That's just how it is. You saying that cast is too large? That can go for any damn thing. That can go for Naruto, anything, like Bleach, anything. Just because that's a big cast. There are plenty of different types of characters, though. You got your action, your main cast, you got your support cast, and you have like other characters. We're going to start doing what Indot did, and we're just going to start diversifying. There'll be a main cast. We know who those are, like the top 4 characters, like Bakugo, Shoto, like, you know, Ida and them. That will be your main cast, correct? Then you can have your support cast, which would be your secondary main cast, be like Tokiyama, Kirishima, you know, Momo characters, like Kaminari, Momo's characters like that. Then we're going to have utility characters, all right? Utility characters will be characters that actually do something in the story. And, you know, they'll actually be something in the story, but they won't have as big an importance, but they'll be there to help flow and structure the story. Then we're going to have support. Then we're going to have support in cast. That's what y'all going to start learning some of these characters are, especially in Class 1B. He didn't have to make the whole Class 1B. That's why, I can't remember everybody Class 1B. That's not the point. Obviously, there are more characters important that he gives more screen time to, than others. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, hello, Tetsu, Kendo, Monoma. Of course, in Hananuki, of course, he put emphasis on just them. Niggas be like, oh, well, how am I supposed to remember their name where they get no shine? Nigga, they wasn't supposed to have shine. He set up those specific 4 since the beginning of Class 1B's introduction. Maybe Kendo didn't come back into like, you know, Forest Camp, but damn sure Tetsu, he popped out same time as Kirishima and they had their own fucking battle. And Monoma making his mark on the fucking cavalry battle. There was a point in like structuring and emphasizing those characters that keep being a point size. Even Tetsu in the war. Even Monoma was not in the war, but he said Monoma will have a big point in the final act. He's even fucking holding area back now. Kendo be doing shit. Like, young niggas be complaining like, oh, cast too big. Nigga, that go for any series.
In conclusion, you can, in order to, we can, you know what, we can use a music analogy here. Just because you can never drop a bad verse, that doesn't mean that everything is going to be put on the album. You would know if you listen to Don. Like, half that stuff is just getting cut.
Okay, Poison Tree, you said, I'm listening, East, but I never blame anyone here. You wanna double back and clarify what you mean by that, homeboy?
Otherwise, we're gonna turn Poison Tree into cyanide.
No, we're not. We're not gonna harm Poison Tree like that. Poison Tree on the list,
but
he on the list.
Intervention. Where is All Might? I'm stressing out over here.
My thing is, it's fine if you don't remember characters, but you cannot use your lack of memory as like criticism. A statement of quality.
Yeah.
And
Do you know that Texas has had a 550% increase due to people drinking more still warmer?
Yeah.
Between Tarnish looking for a walking skeleton and Squid on what he on, Anarchy, can you just continue, please?
That kind of messed me up. Like I was like, what?
I don't even
Lost my whole train of thought.
I mean,
it kind of relates to your point about like just not being like competent enough to actually like know certain things. So then you assume that you already do. It's basically a Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
So it actually connected. You see, I'm thinking 3 steps ahead. All the time.
I got you.
There we go. I remember it's back because I was thinking about doing a video about this, but I'm gonna do it on stream. I'm gonna talk about this topic on stream.
What?
Because I don't do enough good shit on stream, and sometimes I just don't be having the time to do videos. So we're gonna talk about this. Monoma brought forth one of the most important ideas in the entirety of My Hero Academia, and it is 100% something that.
I think he.
Oh no.
He froze.
Oh no.
Oh, that's the best you can bring, nigga. No.
You might want to start that over again. You froze.
God damn it. That was the best way. At the moment,
dang, I didn't hear what you were saying, but you was spitting though. Okay.
All right, look.
1, 2,
hey. Okay, so
my check.
I'm gonna go back. We good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can hear me? Everything's working?
Sure.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I'm trying to say. Monoma brings about one of the most important narrative points in the entirety of My Hero Academia. And you want to know what that is?
What?
We are each to the last the protagonist of only our own lives.
Knew he was going to say that
bit
shit.
Players in the lives of each other. And this guiding principle heavily impacts the way that characters are designed, and it heavily impacts like the way that they're written. And it just seems like a goofy joke when Bakugo tells Deku, what the hell do you think you're the main character? Blah, blah, blah. But it's in the world of My Hero Academia. These characters are operating as if this is a real life scenario. Their mindset is skewed towards real life, thinking like we would think. So those aren't jokes about, hey, Deku, you're the main character of this manga, but I'm going to say you're not the main character. The real point of that is that Deku being the main character of that story means something to us and absolutely nothing to them. Because in story, Deku is not the main character. He is just another nigga who happens to be OP. He's somebody who has a specific beef with a villain. Nigga, you are not special. He just happens to be, you might be the most OP with your quirk. He might be the most OP with his powers, but you are not special because of that. That is not something that makes you special. Each of us is in conflict with something. Each of us is facing a battle. Each of us is trying our best to level up, evolve, and carry as much as we can and do and make the world a better place. Every single hero out here is doing what you're doing. That's why they each get their own special, unique design, because as far as their life is concerned, they need to stand up. They need to level up and evolve and do everything they do. Their growth may be tangential to Deku's, and there are times where people interact with Deku that leads to them growing, but that is not why they grow. People hate Ochako growing a bunch off screen, but the whole point of that is that her life does not revolve around Deku. Her thoughts and decisions and implications can have, like pieces and ideas that are tied to him, sure, because it is partially her seeing Deku being injured and like doing everything that he was doing to defeat Overhaul that led him to being able to speak this. But the thing that sets up Ochako to not only protect Deku isn't just her friendship, but it's seeing things like that guy straight up walk off the live battlefield because his mentality could not take it anymore. That's the kind of stuff that like shaped Ochako. It's when she's doing, like when we see these filler episodes, when she's applying her martial arts, doing her best, trying to level up and applying those wires and stuff in real life. And you see the way it was highlighted in the manga, it was supposed to look like she had some experience with it. So that's why that filler arc in the anime was used. So that episode does still have merit and value. That's why you'll never hear me like bitching about it. If you notice, I haven't said a bunch of bad stuff about that episode because it still had value and it added to the story and was basically pulled from a cover story, which is why part of me really hopes during season 6 we get that burn-in cover story expanded on. Just because I want the bonus characterization.
Bro,
walked off the battlefield. He lost too many rounds of gun game on Black Ops 1.
Ochako,
sad.
So like look at a character like Ida. Yes, Deku pushed Ida, but it was like, and yes, they talk about how Deku learning shoot style and using kicks made Ida want to like really focus on like what he's doing to stand out and how he's supposed to be special and what he's supposed to be doing as a hero. And we see like Deku, like Ida's point changes from being like trying to run point, trying to attack people, trying to be the main man leading the charge like he was against Stain, towards during the midst of jump training. Yes, he was willing to blitz Mudman. Yes, he's the main reason they were able to tie because he made all these moves across the map, prioritizing his speed, utilizing his quirk effectively, not trying to be the biggest like showboating hero, finding his own path and optimizing himself. And it's when talking to his family and thinking about the ways Ingenium proved and how he managed to race, that's when he cut off those pipes. So it's like, you got to realize on a certain level that all these characters, they have these updates and these meshings of ideas. But if you think about it, the fights and interactions that Deku has impact his psyche just as much as they impact the characters he's meeting psyche. That's normal. That's iron sharpening iron. That's the point of a relationship and having connections with people.
You see, that's the point that a lot of people don't really seem to comprehend, and that they bounce off and grow off of each other. There are moments in this story like when it's just like niggas acknowledge that, like, there's two things I was like, one, niggas acknowledge and we not just trying to follow behind Deku's coattail. When that nigga Ida made himself clear as day and the sports fest was like, yo, I can't keep following you, nigga. I'm about to. He's like, you think the new best friend's gonna team up and shit? They just had their cool little moments. He's like, hey, Ida, we can. He's like, nah, nigga, I'm about to go on my own, grow on my own, and do my own fucking thing. Like, you gotta step to the side, bro. I gotta start respecting myself. And there's moments like when like that. And then when Mona really said what he said, I was like, see, that shit some of the realest stuff ever. And that's like the main thing I really love about this thing is like the real idiosyncrasies like inside the story. When that you see the main thing y'all was complaining about, and make a mocking when niggas was saying some shit, like, and when the class when they was going after Deku, and some people have bigger moments than others. And notice how y'all niggas expected Bakugo Ida and wanted Bakugo Ida and certain characters have bigger moments and then mocked others. That's the fucking point to it. You see how in some like Kirishima's flashback, one of my greatest flashbacks I love. You don't know why? Deku was nowhere in sight. Just because we classmates, don't we gotta fuck with each other on a deeper level. I gotta fuck with you and ride for you because we're just heroes. That's just something we're gonna do. But on a deeper level, if we're all going squads and like, all right, they go here. Everybody was like, all right, we all going to do stuff. I'm going to naturally link up with the people I fuck with more than just Deku. Just because Deku the MC don't mean shit to half these niggas. It's like Kirishima was like, he's just chilling with Tokiyami, Kaminari, Bakugo, and Sero. Niggas he would normally chill with. Deku don't need to be there. And you can do that with any other kid. Is like, yo, we just chilling and doing our thing. Like, Deku doesn't need to be there. They are all their own living characters. Not everybody has to, like we said, Deku may have a special power, but he's not a special person. Everything exists outside of Deku. Nobody finna run up. Oh, you got this.
You know what's a
so
really
cool.
great example of this, though?
Yeah.
Tetsu and Kirishima. Kendo and Momo. Monoma and Bakugo. Who's Deku's Class B rival? Is my mic acting up again?
No answers? Exactly.
Shinso's in Class C.
You're in the hero course now.
I mean, not officially.
Nigga in Class X. Nigga in Class X.
If you remember, but like, think about that.
He's in Class XX.
The rivalries, the cross-class rivalries have been censored.
Deku is Shinso's rival. How about that?
It kind of works like that. But like when you think about it, throughout the story, the main like the cross-class rivalry, like what's carried that hasn't been Midoriya at all. It's been Monoma shit talking, and then like somebody like Bakugo or Kirishima like coming back.
Yeah, even when they were having their fucking arm wrestling contest, Deku wasn't no star in that one. Like during the forest camp, like if you read the right brief novels, they were in there fucking. The boys were in there like duking it out. They were having their own like fucking arm wrestling contest.
Like their lives genuinely don't center on Deku. We're just following his perspective.
And a lot of times we don't even just do that.
And that's part of why like people are like, man, Deku doesn't always, and it's like, yeah, this is his story. But like he said here, like this is our story because, and this is important, your life is yours, but its impact is not you exclusive.
Exactly.
This is why the concept of freedom that many people have is kind of dangerous because like they don't factor in that like you do impact other people. No one exists truly in a vacuum. Nothing that is alive and interacts with the ecosystem truly exists in a vacuum. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. That's why ecosystem, it breathes and lives and develops and it bounces off each other. Just not just one thing existing. Like it's an environment. And those things affect each other in various ways. But yeah, shout out to the White Ranger, the Silver Ranger, Shinso. He's finna come in and be like a Silver Ranger, or a White Ranger. You know how they always special.
It wasn't the green one the most powerful though.
Hey, listen, we ain't gonna talk about Tommy. All right, that's Deku. We ain't gonna talk about Tommy right now. Put down the back.
I remember him being like most raw.
Yeah, he was, but that's not the point. Usually it's always a special ranger that comes out of nowhere. They have their reasons, but usually it's fucking Silver or White Ranger that come out of nowhere. I ain't watched Power Rangers in a minute, so God knows whatever other colors.
I had that
Sparkling Dookie Brown. That's the costume you had. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, there was one Power Ranger. I remember having the action figure for it. I had the Red Ranger because I was a Red Ranger type of guy. That was my color. Before they add the Black Ranger, like I always got the Black Ranger, but if I couldn't get that, red was kind of like my default. So that was like my second favorite color. So, yeah.
One of my greatest flexes in life is getting into a group in kindergarten and being like, I'm the Red Ranger. And everybody being like, yeah, he's the Red Ranger.
Damn. Okay, Bakugo. Damn, what a true alpha male.
Oh man. Everybody was fighting to be the Red Ranger.
I really think that like that whole like alpha male stuff is just pseudoscience targeted by dude bros.
Yeah.
It's so funny that I was watching some girls have a conversation about it. It was like, do you believe in alpha and beta males? And it was like, well, yes and no, but she was like, to the point is like now they're so involved with toxicity and negative connotations that it's funny because it's funny. Anki was saying that earlier when you were talking about, because I couldn't chime in because I was listening though. I couldn't chime in because I had forgot my clothes. I had forgot all my blankets and clothes at the laundromat, and they was in that bitch for like an hour. So I had forgot. I had to go run and get them bitches. But he was talking about, like niggas always trying to act like they know stuff or just trying to be the leader. Pep was like, Anki was like, well, let me try everything. Okay, I remember he was talking about if you talk about some shit, he said some word I never fucking heard in my life before. But point being that he's not gonna try to talk about that because he doesn't know about that topic. But he talked about him. What school did you go to again?
Oh yeah,
Lutheran.
I said Polynesian culture.
Yeah, some shit like that, man. But yeah, all knows Polynesian sauce. But let me stop. Chick-fil-A, that should be busted. Anyway, off that nigga shit. He was talking. It's everybody. Alpha and beta is over exaggerated to a point. Like everybody's an alpha and everybody's a beta in certain things. If I bring a nigga that ain't did nothing but play sports his whole fucking life, right? And had a fucking D average his entire life, but he made it through a sports, but he's a fucking next fucking MJ, whatever you want to fucking call him, some famous basketball player, Usain Bolt, whatever the fuck it be, right? Sports legend, right? But his brain's not built for, science and politics and, mathematics. If we looking for somebody to lead us in the sports aspect or athletic aspect or be a team player to guide us, yeah, he got that regard or like physical strength and like we fighting or some shit like that. Yeah, he's gonna be our best bet, the alpha male. But it's not being a beta in the pack doesn't make you a bitch or nothing. It's just that's his strong suit. Now, if we go to politics and science and mathematics and shit like that, then the alpha male turns into a beta male. but niggas think alpha and beta are so fucking like, you know, it's like if you a beta, you a bitch, you alpha, you the boss, nigga. No, everybody has strengths, everybody has weaknesses, nigga. You can be well rounded, but you still got strength, you still got weaknesses. Like it's not a fucking video game where you can boost all your stats. If we go into talking and wrestling and fighting, I'm gonna let Walkers take over. All right.
What about
If
me?
we going to politics,
Listen, bro,
if we going to politics or if we going to comedy, pseudoscience and shit like that, I'm gonna let Squid be the Squid Anarchy niggas be like the alpha leader and shit like that. If we run around Belgium, I'm gonna let that nigga fucking Bonzu be the lead and tour guide. I ain't finna step up. My pump my chest out. My fucking 5'4". Yeah, my fucking I'm an alpha. I can sniff out anything. I'm like, no, nigga, the fuck? Like, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses and like targets. Like, everybody can thrive and shit like that in different aspects. Like, it's
You're talking about me, man.
What you mean?
Oh man, but sure, everybody has its own talents, and that is something that I had even myself as a person difficult to understand. That sometimes you don't even want to believe in yourself about stuff, or people are telling you stuff, and you think to yourself, "Damn, these niggas are crazy." But at the end, they were right because they were seeing something that you didn't want to see yourself. So, guys, don't try to believe sometimes what people say to you. I will say, not everybody, because people that have good intentions, don't forget that, because you're not perfect. So we need some help sometimes. Like Deku, he needs the help of Uraraka to remind that he was in person too.
Yeah, you can't do everything alone, bro.
Yeah, man.
The world wasn't created alone. Like it's okay to
like for example, Aniki here, he can't hear us. We can't hear him, and he can't know if we can't hear him unless we tell him that we can't hear him, as he's fixing his mic and doing what he can. I'm just seeing him like tap his mic, trying to unmute and be like trying to say something, and I'm like, oh shit.
Nigga going through the struggle.
Oh, all right, Daddy having trouble, so it's mommy time again. And does anybody want to go? What do everybody want from the store?
I want more.
I still want to know how so many people.
Aniki, we can hear you back, man.
Bubba Walkers is talking about what he wants from the store.
Okay.
I want a cookie and a brownie and a pack of M&Ms.
Okay.
And a Hershey bar and
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
yes.
We can hear you now. Okay. Finish. A Hershey bar and what else?
And Cocoa Puffs and and Chalky Milky.
Chalky Milky. Okay.
Yeah,
Nesquik Chalky Milky or like Chalky Milky?
Chalky Milky. Yeah,
okay,
Chalky Milky. And Dino Nuggies.
Dino Nuggies. Do you want ketchup or barbecue sauce? I think we ran out of ketchup at the house.
I need the ketchup for my Dino Nuggies.
Okay, ketchup. Dino Nuggies.
And I think that'll do.
Squeebits, Flair. Okay, I got all that. And you want?
All right. So can I order mine?
Apple juice.
Nah, start with the ordering. The boss is back.
Can I get a Krabby Patty with a side of kelp fries?
You don't even eat Krabby Patties. You fat bastard.
Extra pickled.
Oh my God.
What did I just come back to?
Since Daddy left, Mommy going to the store, so I was getting what everybody wanted from the store.
Yeah.
Nah. Do you know that something that I always give you from SpongeBob? That one scene I can never get over is why that fat ass nigga. What that fat ass pickle nigga? I'll never forget when he sat on Plankton, dog. That shit gotta be the worst thing ever, boy.
And then he's just like, you're sitting on my friend, and he just keeps squishing him more. I'm just like, dude.
And this SpongeBob gonna stick his hand down that nigga's booty. I said, bro, come on, man.
No respect, bro.
Sir. We sell food here.
We sell food here, sir.
Where was the owner of the white sedan? He left the lights on. Yo, what did you say? Big meaty claws. Big meaty claws. Nah, I'll never forget over like the fact when I got older and I had one day it just hit me. these niggas literally was stealing people panties.
Yeah.
Like one day I just stopped and I realized what they said. I was like, panty raid? Like you know how shit just pop in your mind, you just quote it. They like panty raid, and they're like, wait, these niggas was going around people's houses and stealing their drawers. What type of sicko shit is that? You gotta imagine.
That was in 1 month, 1.5. That what you got a guy who did this.
Like, I want all y'all to picture right. I want all y'all to picture right now. If a story came out about me on the news and you seen I was sneaking in people's houses, stealing their fucking drawers and shit, do you know how quickly y'all would excommunicate me from y'all lives and clown my ass? Think about a real person doing that. Think about somebody sneaking in your house and stealing your drawers.
No, but it is something that happens in real life, bro. Stories like this happen in real life, bro. In small town stuff, niggas that's still their jobs. I'm telling you.
Hold on, Pounds. You had a panty burglar in your neighborhood? Oh no.
No.
Bro, we had okay. So remember in Vigilantes, there were like those guys that would like try to like peek at like ladies' panties and stuff. They basically had that in his neighborhood.
Bro. Yes.
Double, triple,
understand the reference.
Shingles, a shimmy with a squeeze, axle grease.
It is something that I think that it's something that Japanese people may be faced that a lot because it's a thing that I never saw in any other typical Western movie. You know what I mean? About niggas going to steal some panties. You know what I mean? It is something that only met in anime. And from what I understand, something like this really happened when I see stuff that there is really niggas doing that, but it is like a sickness. It is more like a sickness, a form like of depraved. People who do this have psychological problems, literally. And Japan, that thing became a joke. That thing became a joke, nigga. Every anime you get a nigga, his purpose in life is going in women's room,
Hey man, let me explain something to you. I realized something last week finally watching the final Evangelion movie with my brother. All right. I realized something. Something wrong with all them niggas in the East, all right? Something wrong with all them niggas. It's something wrong with them niggas in the East. It's something wrong with their brain, bro. All right? Them niggas, I'd be looking at like some doujins and some hentai, and I'm like, who the fuck really comes up with some shit like this? Like, I am surely confused. Like, how the fuck did you really like possibly conceive this notion? Like who, how, when, where, why? What
I don't know, bro.
Shit like that, like. I knew it was y'all were wired. We built different, but like, nah, niggas, y'all wired different. Y'all really built different. Like, I got different. We got the same hardware. Y'all niggas got different software, bro. That's how I put it. You got the same hardware. Yeah, I didn't got some different software in that bitch, man.
Some stories that they make, niggas. That's literally, I'm not understand how they can make stories like this, man.
I'd be like, bro, y'all some sick ass niggas, bro. Like,
no.
Prime example, that nigga Junji Ito. That famous horror mangaka, nigga be pumping out fucking short horror manga stories out the wazoo. Then you catch this nigga at a K-pop concert with cat ears. What type of shit? Niggas be having people turn to spirals and eating each other's faces and hearts out and shit like that. Then next week you catch this nigga at a fucking K-pop concert going meow with some kitty ears. What the fuck? That's like meeting some nigga in prison that's there as a serial killer in prison. And the first thing he do when he get out is he go to see Katy Perry. And somebody, baby, let me find the word. Come on, let it up. I'm like, who the fuck?
Imagine the reality. Oh man, it's like having like a beef nigga, like the Tyler Cruz singing da 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 da. I miss you.
It's like white chicks, Terry Crews, big ass singing.
Oh man.
I need you. I'm like, like music, but this is like,
oh man,
that contradiction on you, like,
oh man.
That's like Aniki. You 6'3", right, Aniki? 6'2"?
He got that Steph Curry height.
Yeah, he about Aniki about I don't know where Aniki at, but he like 6'2", 6'3", right?
He about 3/4 of a Giannis.
Actually, I think I'm 6'2" now, but yeah.
Yeah, wingspan of fucking God knows what. That like if you caught him playing with like not action figures, you know, that's not wrong. But like you caught him playing with like little Lego sets and like Barbie toys, and you just be like, and like I remember, I think it was this one video. I think a nigga like James Harden, he in there playing. He like big ass nigga. He got like a beard and shit, and he in the bathtub and he playing with like Barbie dolls. And that nigga there singing and shit, and some dude busted him like, bro, what you doing? He just in the bathtub. He like big burly ass basketball nigga like. I'm saying rest mate, they're playing with fucking Barbie dolls.
Most people that have that do stuff like this have missed something important in the child time in the childhood. Literally, there's something that I think it is like if you I think it is Freud
maybe they just like toys.
Maybe you get this, but you get also Freud that try to understand such stuff. Freud did some tests and everything, and he don't understand why people do some like oral performation in sex, and he said from himself, from researching that some things happen when we are babies in our baby time, maybe that we didn't get the stuff that you get when you're to help for your teeth when you're a baby. I forgot the name of it. The thing that we put in that they put in their mouth just to suck the plastic thing. In French we call it un tutut.
I'd say something.
The pacifier.
Pacifier. Thank you. Pacifier. The pacifier. And if you didn't have that in young time or had too much of that, it can influence you in your sexual life or stuff like this. And it is something that I was really weird when I learned that about in psychology class, I think so. So yeah, sometimes when people do weird things, it's because they missed something in their young life. I mean, in their beginnings, I will say. That's what I heard. So yeah. Here's your explanation.
So how do y'all feel about that hospital scene with Shinji and Asuka?
Hold up.
He ain't trying to get banned from the internet, bro.
Yeah.
Relax. Testing.
Yeah.
Relax.
Also, about like the whole toy thing, it's like to me, like sure, some people might like have that like whole lost childhood thing, but like there are just some people that just really like toys. For example, the UFC flyweight champion Brandon Moreno is a huge Lego collector.
Nice.
And this dude gets paid to beat up the best 125-pound men in the world. So, like, you can be
Thomas,
pretty manly and still love Legos, Funko Pops, everything.
Hold on, Thomas. Your foot fetish could be a result of your childhood. It can also be the byproduct of your neurons being crossed in such a way that your nerves fire off when your feet are touched. That triggers the stimulation part of the brain, the part of your brain tied to arousal. That's also why some people have. That's why some people have armpit fetishes and stuff too.
Yeah.
Hey Thomas.
Nobody's a foot nigga. Damn.
Fact, that's where like a lot of fetishes come from.
Nothing wrong.
The way the nerves interact with your brain.
Ain't nothing wrong with a foot fetish, Thomas.
Some of my best friends are foot fetish people.
I like it when she.
I didn't expect that. I was kidding.
Too late.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I see you like the enemies of the foot. You're part of the Foot Clan, you know.
We don't judge. Good. I like it when you poke me. It's all good, man.
Oh man. Yeah. Thomas is part of the Foot Clan.
I know you did not just say the Foot Clan.
This man's.
Hey, that gave a whole new meaning to the Foot Clan, though. They ain't even ninjas anymore. They just like enthusiastic about weight.
Oh, nigga, that's the way to talk, bro. When you're part of the Foot Clan.
Just think of it as a quirk and move on.
Bro, they call him the Shredder not because he wears. No, bro, they don't call him the Shredder because he wears like a bunch of sharp armor. They call him that because he cuts away calluses.
Damn.
Yo, what the fuck?
This man been carrying a Matty Petty kid on his hand the whole time.
Yeah.
Damn, Tom.
Why do you think Splinter got such nice pedicures?
All right. I feel like this is the perfect note to segue into people's final thoughts on the chapter.
No, we didn't talk about Black Clover.
Hey, that shit was ass. What the fuck? I'm disappointed. That was a dumb decision. And okay, so here's the thing. I enjoy a good action piece, all that other stuff, but holy hell, I've never seen somebody use up all of their life force 2 times in one fight and still live. Like, what the fuck? How do you like, bro? Just don't say he used up his life force. Just don't say
magic.
It. Just don't say it.
We gotta bend reality because it's magic.
Aniki, you know what you was talking about earlier about niggas doing shit for points, like this Ready Player One, just to be hating. I really seen a nigga say, man, who was it? Master Munsa. He had posted that shit and he was like, bro, or he called it ass or whatever that shit happened. And that's how I learned what happened in Black Clover. And then he was like, and then some nigga was like, he was like, Kino, he was like, no, ass. And then Master Musa said, and then the other guy was like, magic, let's just beat magic with reality greater than that shit that happened to My Hero this week. I was like, damn, you niggas just
hating the hate. Nah, look, it's not even a power of friendship moment. It's just like straight up, like they'll like I would have accepted that more. They didn't even have to go be like.
It's literally lol. We have magic.
Hold on. Let me explain something. Okay, you see, he basically got like a 401k in terms of life force. So the thing is like he basically got secured extra life force, but that's in his savings. So he's got to check his savings account because it's going to take like 3 to 5 business days.
And like here's the other thing. I will say this. I do like Xenon's design at the end of the chapter. I'm glad somebody heard my calls through the ether to turn vertebrae into whips, because I used to say they'd make a great torture. You could cut off somebody's vertebrae, but keep them alive, and then you make a jump rope out of it, then whip them to death with it. Yeah.
Or make them hop to death with it.
Experience.
But
why are they can't film that?
So like, cool. I'm glad you did that, Xenon. But like, and yeah, I do think the crawler's making it into MHA, and I'm excited for that.
Yes,
but
all day, man. Terrence, I will want him.
And here's the thing: like Mimosa getting that feat, cool. Just give her the feat. Just let them be beat up. Don't stop lying and saying niggas dying. Just stop doing that. Stop doing that,
bro.
Why? Nobody forced you to lie to me. Like I didn't pull up a gun and be like, "Hey yo,
try to be real quick.
Life or death situation." Make it sound like a nigga finna die, but you better not actually go through with it. Like who? Like what is happening? Like other editors, like bro,
you know
like at this point, I'm starting to think that like Dog was like, all right, I'm gonna just have him do like a really high tier spell, and he'll just take a lot of damage. And the editor was like, what if we said he was dying? And Tabata was like, I mean, I'm gonna bring him back though. And the editor's like, nah, bro. Say finna die. They like that shit.
Throw that tension.
And Tabata was like, but they're not. Like, I just want him to take a bunch of damage. Like, in fact, if he just takes a bunch of damage without, no, you gotta understand. He can't go into the fight knowing that he might not make it out and be just okay with that result. He's got to deliberately say he's sacrificing himself, or it doesn't count.
Yeah, you like that fake tension, don't you? Yeah,
you reminded me of Caleb City.
Bro, literally. But I'm telling you,
like,
literally. The thing I'm thinking about this.
Did we address the super chat? Because I don't remember.
Sure.
We addressed it.
Terrence Bernard came through. We was talking about vigilantes earlier. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we addressed it.
Yeah. Crawler, come in.
No. The thing about it for me is more like when you. I literally, I'm not scared to say about it. Before that, I really understood. Before that, I really understand what Mario was. I was loved in the beginning when I discovered Mario Academia uh, and Black Clover, because I discovered them in the same time. I did linked it bet with Black Clover because I loved in the beginning the little subversions stuff. I was directly hooked, but more and more I saw problems in the story. That's why right now I'm really hating how Tabata sometimes do some stuff, because I genuinely cared in the beginning of that story. So when I see people making research about history and the books that these guys have read, the books that these guys have read about demons and stuff, I would never want to read that, because I grew up in a Christian house. The things that he has read and he makes reference to in his story. You're thinking to yourself, "Fuck, man, would you had to go so far to make a story like this?" Literally, everything that he has read, I don't see how the potential that he could have tell with his story. No.
Yo, I figured out a way how
I can understand that. How he can missing like this. Oh, bro. It's sad.
I figured out a way how you could deplete your life force 2 times and not die. Basically, you get it on a loan. So like every month you get like a certain percentage of life force from like a bank. That's how I think it worked. He got interest charged on his life force.
Oh, shut the hell up, brother. Oh, man. I just laughed, man. I was reading the chapter. I was thinking to myself, okay, they gonna die. I really think gonna die. No. I was thinking the captains won't die. Gaja, if he's die, okay. When I saw that girl pop up, I thought to myself, no, nigga. She became Orihime, literally, that chapter. With plans, she became Orihime. Oh, man. Oh, the power to deny reality.
Mm.
Oh, man. Oh. And One Piece was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually rereading the One Piece right now.
Undead Unluck was really good this week.
I haven't read Undead Unluck yet.
Oh,
I'm too late. I'm too late on it. I'm too late. I have to cut up. Like after my exam, I'm going to cut up in a lot of series, because I stopped reading Undead Unluck. I forgot the other name of the other series.
Yeah.
The one with the assassin becoming a cashier.
Sakamoto Days.
Sakamoto Days. I think they are the only one, because and the little samurai stuff of the guy that made Assassin's Classroom. These are the 3 stories that I have to read again, because they were freaking good, so good. Marshall, I'm gonna read today. NJJK.
Yeah, know what else was good this week? Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone. I'm watching the anime for the month, so maybe I started with anime, because I started first with the manga, but at one moment the manga was so full with words. I thought to myself, man, I just want to see that in action. And I started.
We hit a pretty big. We hit a big milestone in this chapter.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. Yes, and Red Hood. Wow, that assistant of Horikoshi, man.
Yeah. I gotta read Red Hood today.
Oh, bro.
I was just gonna say, if you haven't already, go read Don Da Don.
Yes, I read it.
Yeah,
on that. Oh my god, that was the best binge I've had in a long time.
I read the Tokyo Revengers, and I got to say that then was better than Tokyo Revengers in 20 chapters for me.
All right. But now I want to wind down. Okay. So, final thoughts. Bishop Squid, go.
Man, Lord, don't miss Gas Pack. He makes only raw. He gave me that double, triple, bossy deluxe on a raft 4x4 animal style extra shingles. Okay, but he ain't finished yet. He gave me that axle grease and he made it cry as well. This was emotional. And he burnt it because it was fire and let it swim because we have to let it simmer. This is the calm before the storm. Anyway, you know what it is. 8 out of 10. Free Palestine, eat Doritos, boycott Nels Quilt. Giannis had a 50-point final. Free Afghanistan. Stop drinking horse dewormer. Watch Kung Fu Panda 2 and the anime production collapse. Free my homie Mustard. There. That's my final judgment.
All right. Bishop Ponzu.
Thank you everybody for having me again. Welcome from being there. And yeah, it was a great chapter. A great chapter. A great day, great discussions. We had a good laugh. Good. We get Aniki being a squirrel today. It's not every day that we get this. So yeah, it was good. It was a good chapter. Emotional. Horikoshi came again with the best emotional bag that he have in his game. Really. My Hero Academia is the best manga in the jump for me. You can't tell me otherwise right now. Really, phew. He won me over. Horikoshi is the best. Can't wait to see. He's the only one getting hated by the anime production right now. In every other anime in the jump don't get the censorship that he gets. He gets intelligent censorship. Think about that, nigga. Think about that. That's just for you. That's how good that we are. Let's follow the goats, Hail Hori, and see you next week. Or do we have a chapter next week?
It just says continuing.
Yeah.
So I think at this point they're trying to make sure they don't overpromise anything, which is interesting.
Okay.
Stay healthy,
Chapter
stay
7.
hydrated.
Hold up. We ain't even let Bishop Watkins go yet.
Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to my channel. And love y'all. Mwah.
Bishop Watkins.
Yo, this was a 10 out of 10 chapter. I mean, girl, Ochiko's up there showing, hey, we Capricorns, we know what we're talking about. Yeah, it just, God, the emotional weight on this chapter and just the way Horikoshi can just bring about emotion just from a simple drawing on page. What was it, like page 14 and 15 with the double spread? Amazing. No, 12 and 13, excuse me. Page 14, though, with Deku crying, just you can feel that. You can feel that Deku just needed this. He needed this right here. And thank God Ochako is the one to give it to him. I love the switch of having the what was it? We have in quotations the story of how I became the greatest hero. That's in quotations, whereas at the end it's the change to the story of how we all became the greatest heroes. Again, it's that conversation about how everybody needs to lean on each other. We can't just have one single pillar of peace or hope or any of that stuff. We need multiple pillars to hold the society together, not just one. And that's not only just in My Hero Academia, but take that lesson into your real life. Again, 10 out of 10 chapter. Go follow everybody on Twitter. Go subscribe to their channels. I'll be back with some stuff on my stuff, hopefully this week, after life decides to calm down a little bit.
Seize the means of production as well, though.
Yes. Drink water and go outside and touch grass.
Sensually.
Yes.
Bishop Tarnish.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Walkins. 10 out of 10 chapter. Like, I love this chapter to pieces, especially the officials, because, like, you know, the right translations, the clearer art, everything just hits so much differently. Yeah. I love to see Deku letting out his emotions, finally crying. You know, the mask is gone now. He's exposed. You know, it's all right to be open, and, you know, when shit hurts, it hurts. But we could all overcome it together with the people that care about us. And my favorite part of the chapter is definitely page 16 of Koda running the Deku. The red shoes, that whole situation that happened with Muscular, you know, Deku fought Muscular again this arc, and he thought about Koda. I'm still wondering where Mandalay is. Those red shoes mean a lot to me. You know, and Fox Girl running too. the most recent addition to Deku's club of people that he saved. I can't wait for next chapter.
Archbishop East.
It's time for me to take the show. Well, don't mind if I do. Hey, man. You already know what the fuck going on, man. I'm here to talk my shit. Because I told you niggas consistently, but you don't like consistency. So I'm gonna repeat it. I told you consistently, time and time again. I'm here to talk my shit. Because all I do is win. Biatch! I told y'all niggas he's coming through for my girl, but y'all ain't want to fucking listen. It's so simple to see that he has something in store for her, that he cares for an actual fucking character. But y'all don't value that. No, y'all just want the fucking meathead and shit, that and the other. When I guess this is what y'all want in the story. Y'all want somebody to throw hands. Y'all want some chicks to throw hands because guess what? Y'all ain't never threw hands a single day in your life outside of a fucking maybe a little scrapper with your siblings and shit like that. You ain't never been to the streets. They had no wrestling matches like Walkers in them. They had no street fights like some other people. Like you never been jumping like that boy Anarchy. You ain't never really had some shit in your life. So you trying to live vicariously and want to see some bitches throw some raw hands. So you just blaming on Ochako. You trying to call the old Sakura and bring this and that. I don't have no faith what he gonna do with her. But guess what, nigga? He told you so, and he came fucking through. Woo! Y'all niggas see my vision every fucking week. But then you throw her back on the side. But guess what? I always keep it. That's all I need because you're going to see it at the end of the day because all my faction do, all I do is fucking win. All I do is fucking win in the end. Shout out to my Go Horikoshi, man. Absolutely phenomenal. She didn't throw fucking hands, but she didn't have to because guess what? She kept Deku there. If Deku would have left you, he didn't have the strength to even fight his own fucking wrist or throw himself away and run away. He ran out of energy, okay? He had been in the streets. He would have actually got him captured, brought back, and essentially died, and the story would have been over. This is real life. But because she took that moment to grab his hand and step forward when Genius couldn't even step forward, and number 3, the only hero that's still respected, couldn't even stop those niggas, she stepped in and she took the mic and she spit bars on these niggas. Fuck that bitch ass nigga in the crowd. I'd have beat that nigga ass. They was doing too much. Ochako wouldn't have had to talk about that nigga. I'd beat that nigga ass. He talking too much for some nigga that never did nothing in his life. Take that all my shirt off, Playboy. She in there. She lets these people know this chapter was important now because going towards the future, people need to realize that the heroes are human too. They ain't no other person looking at no other person is actually looking at the heroes and their battle damage. Like human beings are not tools for their protection, like Ochako was. People didn't value the humans that the heroes are. And that she did that, and people can start realizing that shit. This is how we build towards a greater future. All right. And this is how she kept Deku here. And this is how they all come together. And this is how they actually become the great series. Because it's not just the Deku show. They already told you what happened when All Might sweeping everything on the fucking rug, just beating niggas' asses and not trying to fix the source of the problem, just stopping the problem right there. They're going back. This is how they actually do become the great series, tackling different ways other than just, I'm the stronger nigga around. I'm the alpha male. Bow, bow, bow. You to jail. I win. That's how we fucking got here in the first place. Now my kids stepping up to form their own version of the Avengers in the Justice League, man. Shout out to Horikoshi for never forgetting the cast like y'all niggas be on, like y'all niggas would have did, and y'all niggas expect him to do. He ain't never gonna do it. My nigga don't miss. You can keep trying to write the story, but you just gonna keep on missing, man. Shout out to my fucking dog Horikoshi. Fucking 10 out of 10, nigga. Dinamino! Got it! Fuego! Ay. And bitch, you know who it is. It's undefeated of the East. What it do?
Shout out to Tiana Trump.
All right. With that underway, that concludes this episode of the Church of MHA. I will make sure to drop a review this week, though it should be late because I got to go do some interviewing for an art gallery thing. Potentially doing like some recording of a demonstration of an exhibition and stuff like that. So we're gonna see what happens with that. Hope see you guys here next week. Make sure you spread the good word. Really, really happy with this chapter, and a lot of these things are going the way I kind of expect them to. We'll probably end up discussing some of this more in the review, but overall, I'm very happy with the direction this chapter went. And like I told somebody, this has been set up since chapter 1, so like these ideas, like we're really coming to a head. I'm just very, like honestly, like the consistency is just mind baffling. Hope y'all all have a great time. if I do this right, I should be able to get y'all some content later this week. We're gonna see if East can get me the thumbnails. But anyways, that's all I got to say today. We out. Y'all be blessed. Be happy. That's the